and justice for all.
Welcome everyone tonight. We're going to push a couple of things forward because we have prior commitments with some of the folks. Jeannie, would you like to speak with us on some of the town council reorganization? Did you want to speak with us tonight?
Sure, yeah. Just from here?
Or from there, or wherever you'd like.
Okay. So, I guess I should sit. I'll sit. So my, you know, we kind of just did this not too long ago, but I am parting ways from Meadtown and Costa. And as a result, you as a client get to decide whether you want to go with me or to remain their client. And I believe Tracy received a letter from the firm giving you your options in a process that's regulated by the Board of Bar Overseers. Because you're the client, it's your choice to decide who you want to be your town council. So because of the timing, that decision needs to be made, unfortunately, expeditiously by Friday.
Oh, wow. That's pretty quick.
Yeah.
It's, Ginny, I'm kind of aware of it because of some of the information and some of the stuff I've seen, but I'm sure the rest of the board isn't really aware, or are you guys pretty much aware of what's going on?
Well, I talked with Tracy about it, but I think having a general explanation since we're all here probably puts us all on the same page. So.
Sure. I mean, you know, I had with Tony for a long time. I think it's been 11 years that we've served as town council, and my practice was absorbed by Blattman, Bobrowski, and Mead in 2013 in an arrangement that worked very well. I still had, I was still in charge of myself and, you know, the amount of time I needed to spend on various work, and you know, I thought that the arrangement was working well. When the firm split and the Concord office closed and I went to Nellis, I was, you know, no longer self-directed, you know, as a result, I think that we had a, you know, difference of opinion as to service, and I, you know, very much value the town. I very much like to keep you as a client. I know that they have expressed interest as well. You know, I feel like I'm not going to be on my own. I'm going to have a backup plan for the immediate time until I figure out a more long-term strategy. This all just happened on Friday, so this is like 2 business days. And I'm already well into the process of, you know, identifying options, of which I have many. But I just think that, you know, we had irreconcilable differences concerning various things, and you know, I want to serve my client, not my firm, and that's the bottom line for me. As a lawyer, I need to feel like I'm doing everything, you know, in the amount of time and that I need to do it, and that you know, service to my client is my ethical responsibility. It's my and it's my goal, and that's why I do what I do. You know, that could be, you know, you can do a lot of things that, you know, but I enjoy what I do. I've always been in government, and so I feel excited about this opportunity to regain control of my law practice, basically. So I, you know, making sure I'm serving my clients' needs is very important to me. I've spoken with Tracy before about my decision to leave with them being related to knowing that I can't do this on my own in case there are emergencies. I represent another town as well. You can't be in two places at once. So I'm, you know, like I said, I'm identifying how I'm gonna address that, and we'll have a plan to have a backup in the interim, just in case, but, yeah, I mean, I guess that's.
Jenny, can I ask you a question, please?
Sure.
Who has put the Friday deadline on us trying to maybe make a decision before we have some more understanding of what your plans are? Because, you know, you are further away, you are one person, so it seems to be doing you a little bit of a disservice before you formulate some of your abilities to put strategies together. Who put this Friday deadline on things?
I received yesterday a notification from Mead, Tellerman, and Costa that, that this was effective on Friday.
Meaning for you not to be part of the firm.
Well, since I'm leaving, you have to decide, you know, that's.
But we still have them right now as town council.
I think so. Your fee agreement is actually with Blattman, Bobrowski, and Mead, although when the split happened, I think an endorsement was signed. So I think that they are your council of record.
See, I'm just trying to maybe interfere with the process enough to, in fact, I don't know how the board feels, and maybe they have feelings that don't require this, but it seems that your request to us is gonna be a lot stronger when you accomplish some of those things that you intend to put in place, which is backup and all those things that you don't have right now. But it just seems that I wondered why we suddenly have to do this.
Yeah. I mean, I can't give you details, but I can assure you there will be backup. I have options, and that I'm weighing, and I'm not saying that you should just say, oh, okay, well, she has options. I trust her to go with that, but I can, you know, I will have that, but it is, you know, as the letter says, your choice as to what you want to do.
Now, I think one of the things that's beneficial about working with a firm is that we can draw on multiple expertise. And you're looking forward, you know, we had someone who was able to help us, though it wasn't enough, on the 40B because the firm had a connection with someone. You know, what is your ability looking forward to provide that broad spectrum that the town needs? That's sort of my concern about a sole proprietor as a representative.
Right. It's not my intention to remain a solo practitioner. But you know, what I can offer you is town council services at a lower rate, with room to, you know, to save some of the money budgeted in the event that you need an expertise service, which is not something that happens all that often in this town. So right now there is a 40B, and I wouldn't advise you on 40B. I'd be the first person to tell you when I'm outside my area of expertise. But in terms of your general town council services, I would have much lower overhead than a firm with 2 offices, and you know, even though I'm located physically farther, I don't have to be here all the time to, you know, to be your attorney.
Mm-hmm.
So I can, you know, I don't feel that the distance is an issue for me. So, you know, so that's something that I can work out in terms of a proposal. Is something that Tracy and I discussed a little bit.
Once again, I'm a little lost, and I know I'm going to belabor this point for to be stupid, I guess. But who is putting, see, I still contend that as you plead your case to us tonight, to maybe not go with a firm that has 3 people that is next door in Newburyport. You serve the town well. It doesn't display your broadest spectrum of where you're going to go and how you're going to go next and what you could have to offer us. You're just saying, I intend to do this. It's hard. I don't know what the board's thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going back to, who the hell said we have to choose Friday? Was it you or Lisa Mead?
It's not me.
Then why do we, Tracy, do you know why we have to choose Friday and don't have any reason to take this under advisement tonight?
The letter that we received was, we received notification that as of Friday, the relationship was terminating. So as of Friday, we're going to have to decide who gets the file. There's nothing to preclude you from, seeking proposals in the future, even if you should decide to go with one or the other. But there is, at some point, you have to make a decision.
So is the contract that we recently signed completely valid at this point? Or is it essentially
There's
invalid?
no contract. When it comes to attorneys, it's not like other vendors. It's an at-will arrangement that can be terminated at the client's will at any point. Even if it says it's, a 3-year appointment or a 3-year contract, at any time you can decide. Because it's a special relationship between a client and an attorney that's not, it's client controlled.
So we appoint you yearly, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And your appointment runs out in June anyways.
Yes.
Okay.
But you wouldn't have to wait till June 30th, ever. If on
Right.
July 15th, you decided you wanted to do something else, you're entitled to do that, always. It's not like other appointments that are for.
Okay.
Anything?
Jeff hit on something that, I know you're looking good the distance away. Is the firm gonna be a good distance away also? Where you going?
No. I mean,
We're enjoying it when they're reading the report, they can be here and copy. So that's my concern with you. I mean, I've worked with you for many, many years, and so 5, and we did the little league thing, I like your, keep you, but, the distance is what's getting me right now. It's,
how is it getting you?
let's say we enjoy the new report right next door law firm.
Well,
I think, Jenny, what Chuck's kind of getting a little caught in, which I am too, is the fact that you've been a good town council. This doesn't make it easy. We've worked with Lisa Mead before. She is close. You're in transition now. We have to think of almost what's best for the town and not best for what is best for you right now,
Of course,
because
of course, I would never ask
it's
you.
chief executive for the office of the town, so it's tough. I mean, we have certain things right now where, even you and I have discussed, you would need to work with other people to expand your horizons on what we were looking to probably accomplish, which is,
I am the most qualified person in my firm to accomplish that. Nobody else has more experience in appellate litigation in my firm than I do. And, it is your choice, and if, that expertise, the 40B, and the rest of it is coming at an additional cost. Everything I've ever done, I've done under a flat fee, and have never asked for another dime, even when it was, a trial. So, that is not, that's not true on the other side of the ledger. So, I mean, it's totally up to you.
Well, I think that what Jeff said, we need to do what's best for the town, but where I'm going with this is just because, we may shift right now, doesn't mean that we won't shift back next year, or when the next appointment comes up. That's kind of what I'm getting at, is with how long do we sign, do we have a contract?
No, we have a fee agreement.
So we have a fee agreement with Mr. Mead's office now. That doesn't mean that you can get your we
Well,
have to do
here's-
what's best for the town.
Here's my concern about switching away from Ginny, which is that Ginny has been handling everything for the town primarily for a long time with a few exceptions. So I don't know if there's any acrimony in the firm at this point, but transferring to someone who hasn't touched most of our legal paperwork, to me seems like a pretty major decision.
Well, what's got me a little bit concerned, more than a little bit concerned, is anything that you happen to be working on now, I don't know if it's in the best interest of the town to not let her see it through. I don't know.
That's essentially what I'm saying. We've got a lot of ongoing legal matters.
I like working with you because you don't tell me what I want to hear. I don't want a lawyer that tells me what I want to hear, lets me get in all types of mischief, and then just charges us to get out of it. To me, that's worth something. I guess what I'd like is more assurance that I'll be dealing with you and not somebody else. I know you can have an emergency in one place than the other.
Yes, I mean, that is completely my intention to continue as lead town council for this town. I've enjoyed working here. I'm proud every time I stand up and say town council for the town of Newbury. I have worked really hard, and you know, it's important to me. It's what I do. So it is completely your decision, and you decide if in your own minds what is in the town's best interest. But I feel that I'm capable. I'm hardworking. I know what's going on. I've been doing this for a while. I've established relationships with everybody in the town hall, and I think I have a good working relationship with everybody, and people trust me. Because of the flat fee arrangement, people call on me and, without fear that it's gonna raise the bill. And I think that because I take every call and don't try to rush through anything or spend just a minimal amount of time that is required on whatever task is in front of me, I deliver, good and thoughtful work. So, the particular fee arrangement, if you elect to retain me, would be negotiated, but I could do better. I could do it for less, with less overhead and the same dedication and attention that I think.
One thing that strikes me is Jeannie's done a good job. Money's not unimportant, but certainly bad legal advice costs you a lot more money than the initial fee that comes up front. I'm still caught up on the fact that if we have town council right now for the time being, that we have to make a decision unless the board wants to before Friday, which is a very strong decision. We don't really know that much about Lisa Mead's firm. I think it's bizarre.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they are not here to present.
And Ginny, you don't have your background, your backdrop expanded. You don't have what you really want to tell us yet because it's too sudden. Who you
Yeah,
might
why
have as
isn't-
partners and everything else.
Isn't somebody from that office here to explain to me?
They offered to come.
Yep.
Just a meeting with the board, so.
I mean, like I said, we have worked with Lisa's office before, certainly she's well known. But I'm still willing to take this under advisement until our next meeting, and we still have town council, am I wrong? Or does the board want to make a vote tonight?
Well, as I
It's up to you
understand what
guys.
Ginny's been saying, on Friday, there has to be a decision from us either to transfer the files to Lisa Mead and have her keep them, or to Ginny and have her keep them.
But it doesn't mean that we have them as town council anyway. So they have to continue to do our work.
Well, I mean, there'd be
A new person, but they have to continue to do
I
our
would
work.
have to prepare the files for transfer and get, people up to speed with what is going on, and undergo that transition, whereas if the files remain in my possession,
Our
that-
agreement is with the law firm, correct?
yes.
Okay, our flat fee arrangement is with the law firm.
Yes.
Okay, so if we stay the course until June something when we reappoint, June 30th, you come back in, show us what you got. I think that's the time we need to make the decision, not under the gun, as Jeff is saying like this. It's just too quick. Breaks my heart to say that. I want you to know that.
I mean, it
Really
certainly
does.
wasn't my choice, so.
Yeah.
But,
But I'm still concerned about any ongoing issues that the town has losing her. That's a serious concern.
personnel we have pretty darn good. I'd back them up.
Yeah, I share your concern, Alicia, about the ongoing elements in transferring them. You know, switching horses midstream is not a good idea to me. And that's what it is, since most of the council work that has been done by Ginny, not by Lisa or other members of the firm.
So, if I'm to, I mean, is the board ready, am I ready to ask the board for a motion on what they would like to do?
I'd almost rather hear from Lisa Mead and Ginny again and have another meeting on Thursday or something. This is very sudden to me.
How much time do we need to post it?
48 hours.
A meeting on Friday?
Well, I mean,
I could meet on Friday.
I'm not, there is nothing prepared me for your conversation tonight with a Friday deadline. I'll entertain a motion for something from the board.
All right, motion to
Before I
stay.
tell you what I want to do.
Here we go, motion to stay the course with the law firm for now.
I'll second it for sake of discussion.
I think we've already pretty well discussed it.
The only thing that I'm trying to get across is, to me right now, we don't even understand, because we've worked with Ginny all this time. And Tracy, you haven't had extensive time to speak with Lisa as according to same fees, same all this, same this, same that. I mean, so this is in outer space.
Yeah. So here's a question for you, Ginny. If we can't run parallel, keep Lisa Mead and keep you on at a nominal fee for 2 weeks or something like that, is that even within the realm of possibility to keep both you and Lisa Mead's firm on retainer? And if we could, what would that look like expenses-wise?
Well, you know, apart from expenses, I don't think you ever have more than one town council. You know, I think you appoint our town council.
As a firm.
And, you know, I mean, I understand the concern about, you know, not knowing what my practice is gonna look like, but, I mean, I have been doing this for, you know, for 11 years in Newbury for a time. You know, Tony did it pretty much on his own when he retired and moved to Florida. I did it pretty much on my own. I'm not saying that that's a good solution for any long term, which is why I did, you know, originally associate with Lavin, Nebraska and Mead. But, you know, I wouldn't, for a minute, if I didn't have full confidence that I could serve as your town council, you know, effectively and give you, you know, all the counsel and advocacy that the town required, I wouldn't be sitting here tonight asking for that. So, you know, I'm confident that I can do it. You know, I'm working on many things right now. If you elect to transfer, you know, I will transfer them to the other attorneys and, you know, make the files ready to hand over. But, like I said, I mean, the Friday, it wasn't my choice and it wasn't in my control. So I don't know what I can, you know, offer in that vein. I'm not sure. And, you know, you could always retain me for the time being and then do something else as well, as, you know, because when you say retain them, I mean, while your agreement is with their firm, or the thing that you signed is with their firm, I have handled 95% of everything for this town for, you know, several years now. So, you know, for them to transfer, you know, one discrete 40B case, or, you know, it's a small issue over to me is not as, is not the same as me transferring all the town council ongoing matters that I've been handling to them. So, you know, just in terms of like the transfer of knowledge and information. So I can be up and running to the same thing on Monday that I am on Friday, totally up to speed on everything. So.
Ginny, you've got to understand a little, it's not,
Absolutely.
it's not that what the board's looking at is the fact that, you know, you were part of a law firm that was very close by to us, that in the pursuance of your job descriptions, you had to go over and sit in that office and work. You could go over in that office and work. You know, you were part of that law firm. So we had the use of yourself and probably 3 other people if we needed them for advice, right?
Really?
Did we? Well, that's
You tell
what we,
me.
you know, that's what we.
How much do you actually have to hit books in your work, or is most of it online?
Oh, it's all online now.
So
It's all online.
your primary tool is computer.
Correct. Yeah. I still enjoy books when I can encounter them, because I went to law school in the olden days, but it's all online now. It's all online.
So any reference you need is pretty much in your computer.
Yes, on the internet.
Is the board ready to make another motion? And what I just seconded?
Motion to,
Well, don't we have to do something with that motion that we want to
Finish the vote on this one?
All those in favor? Second, I'll take another vote.
I would like to get more information. I can't vote on this tonight. I need to digress.
Are we available for a Friday meeting?
I'll make myself available.
Yeah.
That sounds-
I still don't understand how,
I can't vote on something I don't understand what the full
yeah,
vote.
yeah. And we don't even have a job, you know, we don't even know.
Could it
All
be
right,
after,
make a motion.
maybe after 2? Possible?
I would think evening, so. Trying to see my schedule. I would just make a motion that we hold a selectmen's meeting at 7 o'clock on Friday. It's the 9th day. 12th.
Well,
Is there a second?
To discuss this item.
is that gonna work that late at night?
It's going to have to.
Friday
Okay.
night at 7? Why is
Yeah.
that too late?
It does say by Friday, but it doesn't say business, you know, fucking business.
All those in
hours,
favor?
You know,
Aye.
Aye.
you know what I'm saying?
We okay? One more
the-
discussion?
Well, no, I don't think the letter says by the close of business on Friday, does it? So, we're gonna meet their Friday deadline. It gives Lisa and me the chance to come in here and have her piece and get us some more information, so. I'd also like to,
And Ginny, hopefully, part of the problem, at least for me, was the fact that there's a very reputable firm that you're leaving, and the town has some very important things ahead of it, and you don't live that close, and you are a single source provider right now, and that is a concern to me, and we just need, it'd be nice to know what you're put together for
So I
backup and other people, that's the only thing.
would like to request of Lisa Mead's firm that they give us a proposal, and of you, Ginny, that you have things a little more forwarded by Thursday afternoon, end of day. I know that doesn't give you a lot of time, but, you know, I need Thursday night to read and review. We're gonna discuss things on Friday.
And we would need a copy of what we had before with the original law firm.
Well, according to this letter, it says you have the right to elect a hybrid relationship.
Yeah.
So,
So we'll be discussing this on Friday.
all those in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Sorry. All right. Eric, where are you? Eric has a presentation,
I have an update.
and it's an update for the RFP. Go ahead. We got it under
Information.
control.
So, Eric Swan, 14 Old Farm Way, OPM Designer Selection Committee. So this is for the new police station town hall renovation project. The committee has taken the action necessary to work towards hiring an OPM, and then after hiring the OPM, hire a designer. So one of these for each of you. There's a schedule tucked into the second page, and I'd like to make you aware of 4 dates, 3 meetings, 2 of which are Board of Selectmen meetings. So in this process, the state, because of any project that's over $1.5 million funded with taxpayer money, the state says that you will follow Chapter 149 and you will hire an OPM before you hire the design team. When you say designer, you say architect, structural, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and any other consultants that are part of the package. So with this, we've put together what I've just given you, which is the RFQ. The process is a qualifications process. It's not like you ask for a proposal and somebody gives you their resume and then gives you a fee proposal at the end. There is no fee proposal for this. You're selecting, the state mandates that you select somebody on qualifications. So, and in order to do that, we have this RFQ that states exactly what the process is. Here's all the times, here's the schedules, here's the documents you're gonna get, here's how it's all gonna work. We're going to, from today and next Thursday, we're gonna go live with submitting to the town central register with an advertisement. That advertisement goes in the central register, it goes with combis, it goes in the local paper. And there's a couple weeks, and all interested parties then get to respond. They respond back to the committee hopefully receives a number of proposals. The committee reviews them separately, and we rank them on a scorecard that's outlined within the RFQ. So it's all above table. There is no, just I like one person better than the other, or I like somebody in red and somebody in blue. It's all written right in here exactly how we select them. We rank them, we qualify them. Hopefully we get 5 or 6 more proposals. We shortlist it down to 3, maybe 4. Then we hold a walkthrough. We hold a walkthrough. We get the proposals. We hold interviews. We make a selection, and then we get to do the whole thing all over again with the OPM doing most of the work to select the design team. So by hopefully July 11th, July 4th, we can celebrate and have an OPM and move the project the next step forward. The dates are next Thursday, we will submit an advertisement to the central register. On June 13th, there's a Board of Selectmen meeting, and we will have the ranked candidates for the interview come before you. So I got X proposals, we review them. These are the ones that came to the top. We intend to announce tomorrow and notify them that there's an interview on this date. We're gonna hold all interviews on one day, and we'll do basically the same process. They'll stand before us, we'll let them interview. The committee will be up front with the ranking sheets. The public is welcome to attend and hear. I suggest and highly recommend that all the selectmen, anybody else in the town that's interested, attend. It is just the committee interacting with the interviewees, but it is good for everybody to understand what is going on. After we have those interviews and we do a ranking, I'll be back before you and I'll say, this is the firm that we feel we've selected and we'd like your blessing to proceed, at which time Tracy will negotiate with them. on the fee. Once that is set, same exact process with the designers. The committee has been great to work with. Everybody on the committee has been focused. It's there's 19 pages of meat, and then there's another 20 pages of fair labor law and this and that, and other kind of town contract stuff. So it's 48 pages of a document that we've been working hard to bring up to order. That's what I have for you tonight. So, any questions? I
Any
would
questions
just-
from the board for Eric? Eric, thank you so much, and thank the committee.
Thanks. As I said, the committee's doing a great job. Martha's doing a great job. She's got to edit all my edits, so. Hands off to Martha. So it's Friday, June 23rd. Put it in your phone.
I circled it.
Put it on your calendar, put it on the refrigerator. That's a Friday. We intend to take the day off. We intend to have interviews. We can have them here if this room is available. We could have them at the old town hall and the police station. There's the old space there. We could have them in the fire hall. So we will have them in one of those places with enough room for less people to attend. Martha, anything?
No, I think that's it.
John, anything? Otto, anything? Chief, anything? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for moving this forward.
Thanks again. Excuse me. I have reports. Is report of the chair. It is the fact that I signed a PR 17-21 payroll for Board of Selectmen, and Alan Jamison signed a PR 17-22 for Alan Jamestown moderator, signed the VW 17-23 Verizon wireless monthly iPad bill. That's my moment in the sun, guys. Good night.
Spent all day in the sun.
I know, well. All right. There's a lot of requests for public property, and I'm gonna apologize to everyone. I had my colonoscopy for the 10th year, and I'm a little hazy, so you can correct me.
Would you like me to read them for you?
No,
Jeff?
I'm okay, I'll try to get through it. All right, public property for a special permit for the Historical Society of Old Newbury. It's a banner on the Upper Green and lawn signs throughout town. Lawn signs are permitted too, I imagine, and it is May 29th through June 12th, 2017. And it is to advertise the museum of the Old Newbury 37th Annual Garden Tour from June 10th to June 11th. Request for public property use special permit. It is for the Global Premier Soccer Waltham,
We're gonna
Mass.
stop and do the first one.
Oh, hey, I told you tonight was gonna be tough.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Is anyone here who wants to speak about that?
I don't need to speak, I was just here to get permission for the signs.
Well, if you wanted to say anything great about how wonderful it's gonna be on
Free
TV.
advertising.
Free advertising, we hope you all buy a ticket and come, it's it's 38th. It's a 30, 37, 38, I've lost track, we got something.
37 it says
Long
here.
time.
Yes, it is, we hope to make 40.
Well,
Excellent.
all those in favor?
Aye.
And in defense of myself, I usually read them all at once. I do too, usually.
Thank you.
All right, request for public property, special permit, and once again, it is for Global Premier Soccer Waltham, use of the Manta Field. And it is Friday, May 26th through Monday, May 29th, 2017. Motion
Motion to approve.
Second.
is, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Request for public property use special permit, Stan Dixon, American Hand Fire Engine Society, use of the Upper Green Fireman's Muster Saturday, June 24, 2017, from 10 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Motion.
I'm gonna recuse myself from this vote.
Second.
Discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Request for public property special permit, Alzheimer's Association, Waltham, Mass, ride band Alzheimer's bike ride, Saturday, June 24, 2017, from 8 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Course High Road, Green Street, Hay Street, Newman Road, High Road. Motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Yeah, how about, are they gonna mark the roads?
No, I think we've made that very clear to everyone so far.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Request for public property use, Friends of Newbury Town Library. It is the use of library for adult summer reading program kickoff and Susan Mona's retirement soiree. Friday, June 9th, 2017, from 5 to 8 p.m.
Motion.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
We also have Town of Library. It is adult summer reading program. Again, it is at the Newbury Town Library from Friday, June 9th. Is that the same? No? Yes?
Yes.
Why is it? Oh, proper use and liquor license, thanks, Chuck. For the liquor license for the same day, for the same use, Friday, June 9th, 2017, from 5 to 8 p.m.
Motion.
Second?
Is there any discussion? All those-
Yes.
Yes.
I feel it's important that we start to develop a policy around liquor use on town property, because we've had a couple different requests, both here, we've been allowing it at the Grange Hall, but we were hesitant to allow it at the Fireman's Hall, and I think we need a clear policy. I'm happy to have this one go forward. I think they have every right to have this, but I think we need to take some time and develop a policy about how the town handles liquor on town property. That's all I have to say.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
One-day liquor license to the Merrimack River
Feline.
Rescue Society, Stratford Strays, at Spencer Pierce Little Farm. And it is Sunday, June 4th, 2017, 12 to 3 o'clock p.m. Motion.
Motion, yeah.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Another one-day liquor license, Governor's Academy.
Oh, Frank, did you want to talk about that?
No, I just wanted to stand up and.
Say what?
Thank you.
You are,
Thank
all
you.
right. Anything else you want to say about the league?
Pardon me?
It was about the
Feline.
rescue.
Every year, we enjoy doing our strut net in the town of Newbury. And I'm a resident of Newbury, but we really appreciate the support and the help that we get.
And it's a great job that you guys.
Thank you.
So, once again, the one-day liquor license for Governor's Academy, and it is on Friday, June 9th through Saturday, June 10th, 2017. Motion.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
This is the review, approve, and sign the 2017 business license as follows: Decatur Board, Gad Realty, 196 Scotland Road, general business permit.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Is there a discussion?
Ask a question, where's
Yes.
196 Scotland Road?
Where is it? You know.
No, there is no 196.
Probably the Condex, across from State Police, might be 196.
So it might be in the whole.
No,
thing.
because we're on the
odd
odd
side of the
road, all of us are. The
Right,
state pit
it's
and
true.
Saltus is on the even, state police barracks is on
true.
the even side of the road.
Yeah.
Make sure, let me make sure. it
Yeah,
wasn't-
let's make sure.
I took it from town clerk's.
Is that, Saltus, old what?
No.
Oh.
Good
I don't think
good
so.
inside,
It is.
though.
No, Salt
It is.
is, they never changed Salt when they did 911. They left him his original number.
So it's.
What Tracy's just saying is the gas on that piece of property.
And that may be-
So we're gonna check.
Salt, this comes up as 196.
Yeah.
All right, so,
Yeah.
good,
Oh,
but good
good.
catch, 'cause I wouldn't have got it either, so, all right, discussion, motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, Eric, are you here tonight? And Martha, you're gonna help us a little if we need on this. This is Eric Sorensen, and you certainly are welcome to introduce yourself and make an informal presentation for the construction of a year-round golfing facility, hi Jeff, on Scotland Road, and it's called the Golf Center.
Okay, Michaelson Stark. He is a civil engineer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to introduce myself, Mike Novak from Meridian Associates. We are the engineer and survey company on the whole project. with me tonight, Mr. Eric Sorensen. He'll be the applicant. We're here tonight to just walk you through a quick overview of what we are hoping to propose to bring before you under a special permit request. So I'll keep this brief. We just want to hear opinions from the board, and if you want to open that.
Now, just to clarify, the
Sure.
special permit request is a special permit request to be granted by this board?
Yes, sir.
Just so everyone knows.
Yes. There will be a planning board site plan review that will be triggered as well, and we'll also have a conservation planning as well. We're going to try to do this as concurrently.
Martha, with this size project, is it, site plan review and everything the planning board has, or a special permit take that away?
No, it'd be two processes. It triggers site plan review with parking and various other site improvements that they're doing. So one question would be to you all, whether you would want to try to hold a joint public hearing.
That's what I wondered
December.
about, yeah.
We'd be amenable to that too. We can certainly try to be as flexible as we can to meet whatever work schedule-wise for this board as well as planning. If I may, I'll quickly run through what we're proposing and open it up to any questions. The subject property is actually two parcels. It's 131 and, I guess technically three, 133 and 151 Scotland Road. This, as you'll be familiar with, is an existing house at 131, existing drive here. I apologize for the scale, it's a little tough to see from, so please let me know if there's anything you can't see. I'll be happy to bring it up there. We've gone and done extensive survey for most of the site. We've done a little bit of less scattered on this side. We've got some steep slopes at the front, but there is, again, an existing driveway access which we will utilize. There are some wetlands throughout the site, here, here, and here, also over here as well. Most of them have been approved through an ANRAD application. We, as part of our NOI application, are going to get the rest approved for conservation. Mostly open to the northeast side. There is a tree line in the back, it's here, and as we move to the south and west, mainly a wooded, basically untouched area. There are some direct abutters to the west here along Scotland Road. Their properties are outlined as such. And I'm just going to go ahead and flip this around to give you a quick overview of what we're proposing, because that's why we're here. I'll let Eric talk in a minute to give you kind of the functionality of the site, but I'm just going to run you through the development real quick. We're going to utilize where the existing driveway is right now, but expand that to meet all the planning requirements. We're going to run a driveway through into a parking area. There will be a pro shop. The pro shop will be for sales of golf-related items, of course, and there will also be a section that will serve ice cream that is brought in from off-site. It'll just be a window. There'll be picnic benches. There will be no inside counter service or inside seating, and ice cream only, nothing else, and that'll be part of the special permit request as well. There'll be additional parking up here to accommodate accessibility and to also accommodate what will be natural grass tees. We are proposing 35 at this point. That number may change a little bit here and there, but 35 artificial on this side, concrete driving range stands, 10 of which will be covered and heated, radiant heat. I'll let her explain that a little more in detail. And the site will be, for all intents and purposes, it'll look like a driving range. We're going to have to clear it. There will be target greens. There'll be some rough grading that's done, but the idea and the hope is to have it look like an actually occurring open field, hitting golf balls. It will not be a full golf course. Strictly a driving range, but there will be some other aspects to it that I want to explain real quick and Eric can talk in detail. There'll be a membership program, and the membership program will allow the members to utilize these two spaces up in front, which is a putting green and a chipping green. Again, I believe those will just be members only. So those won't see a lot of use, hence why we put them up front. Two reasons: they're not going to be used a lot, and the other reason to attention for roadway. There will be a signage proposed. We'll have that on our official application. We just haven't nailed down the location yet, or sizing, which we'll obviously want to plan as well. We are proposing an infiltration basin for stormwater. This will be an ornamental pond feature. It will function for some stormwater control, but it has been taken out of the model for, in terms of meeting certain requirements. I just want to point out that it will be a feature that holds water and ideally, hopefully with a fountain again for, recognition. At this point, I think I'd like to have Eric just give you a brief overview of what a normal day would look like out here, and then we'll open it up to any questions.
Thank you. My name is Eric Sorens. Thank you for your time already. What we're proposing is a golf learning center. Kind of a normal day here would be, we'd open at 8 a.m., close it at 9 o'clock at night. There would be lights. We will have that on our proposal to you. All our light study and everything there. From a standpoint of busy, there's really not a busy time. That's probably the question that comes up. Is there a busy time here? Really, it's the trickle effect kind of in and out for golf. There's no high point or low point. As Mike said at the beginning, when you come in, there will be a short game area with a chipping green and putting green. We will have a pond here. Also, we will have mats. 10 of them will be radiant heat, so we will be an all-year facility for the winter, and then a grass tee up top. There will be some target greens over here. And, other than that, this is kind of your basic layout. The one thing I do want to stress, it is a learning center, so we do want to be involved with the schools and, give back to the community rather than the stigma of just a driving range. And I think a lot of people think of just mats, and it's going to be a very nice facility, mostly grass, and keep the landscape itself. Other than that, we can kind of open up to questions.
I'm sure there's people here from the community, so I would entertain very quickly any questions from the board if there is any.
So you said you're gonna have lights so people can play till 9. Will they shut off at 9?
Yeah, we'll shut off that. So we'll have a cutoff for our last ball sold. So typically it's half an hour, so probably about half an hour before. So we'll shut off at 9 to be, aware of the neighbors.
Yeah. And you mentioned the schools. Are you planning to do free programming for the schools? What are you thinking? What is your proposal around?
I've been
the
involved in
schools?
the golf and school programs, which is free. Going to the schools, teach the kids, and actually having a facility, bring them out to the facility and offer free programs with the kids. And get them
School stuff,
after school stuff, and involve them with the gym classes and be involved.
the golf team.
Yeah, and the local golf team, absolutely.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I need to orient myself here.
Mhm.
Which is west?
West would be
That way.
And actually.
So 95 is over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if this helps, this is a little.
This one
more
might be a
of
little bit better.
This is just of the main function area, the driving area will be that way, but this is a little more colorful, a little easier to read. I wanted to give you an overview first and then condense a little bit, so I can flip back and forth, just let me know.
And how many, are you gonna have lights all the way across the driving range? Is
Yeah,
that the plan?
there'll be lights on the side, but obviously there'll be no trespassing with the lights, and obviously we'll have the candles, the study and all that. There will be lights out there.
Can you go back to the other one?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
How about I put this one down here?
Very
this-
limited lights so we can see the ball laying. Very
Yeah.
limited.
So what are you looking to clear? All of that?
This is clear in here, and we're gonna clear over here.
The intent is to leave a natural buffer around, it's a little, I apologize on this, but there is a red limited work line. The intent
Yeah, I see it.
is to leave a buffer, a natural buffer, this is a large scale, so that's about 25, 30 feet, around the entire outer rim of the parcel, and then inside will be clear, but it'll be an undulating, it won't just be a flat parking lot, it'll be undulating, hopefully looking natural, all grass.
How wide is the buffer in between this and the abutters?
Approximately 25 feet or so. I mean, that is something we're still kind of nailing down. Again, this is just this did go to conservation for full disclosure, but that was just to stay on the deadline. I'm sure we're going to have a few rounds with them, and they're going to have their input as well. So we're still flexible at this point, but we're trying to be as detailed as we can at this point as well. So.
Even though it's in special permit, we work in concert sometimes, obviously, with the people that advise us. So Martha or Doug, not in the Wellhead Protection Act or anything that's out around that area further down?
No, no, it doesn't, there's no critical water
I
there.
was just gonna say, not a lot of endangered, any you know, natural heritage stuff in there a lot?
To be honest with you, I took the filing in on Thursday, and it's still sitting on my desk. I haven't had a chance to review it
If I
yet.
may, I could certainly speak to at least a piece of that. I don't mean to steal your thunder, but I
Please
haven't
do.
had a chance to look at it. There is a heritage area in the front. We have submitted everything appropriate to them. We submitted actually prior to them. So prior to their live filing, as kind of a heads up, we did get an initial report back that said they liked what we did. We will be doing some replication and some moving stuff, tree line around, but so far positive from them. We're gonna obviously, Eric will obviously clean up everything that's been going on in and around here as well. You know, and this will all be natural. The only impervious that you're gonna see will be the driveway.
And you're looking to put in a for-profit business in that area?
What is the topography as you move across? So we have the topo on lot 11, but
Yeah,
I
this
can't
is,
see anything.
this is detailed topo. We've done some larger scale stuff here, but, you know, this is a 90, this is an 80. There's some flat spots, there's some steep slopes. That's why I say it's going to be kind of a general, as natural as you can keep it, with still allowing the ball to hit and roll. Yeah.
Is it a general downhill?
Yeah, well, you have
cross?
a wetland here.
Gonna make people feel like they can hit the ball really far?
But just to speak to that a little bit, there is a significant wetland here, and there's also, this is technically a non-jurisdictional wetland, but it is a wet area. So this whole site kind of flows this way and this way, and then at some point, there's a high point through here, and it actually starts to flow this way as well. So we've got a little bit of a, so we kind of just want to bring the low up a little, the high down a little, and make it as flat as we can without it looking too artificial.
Any fencing?
Ideally, no. If he's, of course, I don't want to speak for you, but I think you should take
Yeah,
that.
being 27 acres, this is one of the, a plus to this, that, you know, with our sight lines, we won't need any nets. And, you know, it's kind of a plus for everybody aesthetically and for the golfer to show up and not, you know, traditional driving range, you see nets and, you know, to the eye, that's not appealing. So no, with our sight line, we won't need them at all.
That's a silly question, but who's gonna go collect all the balls?
We'll have a picture.
Great jobs.
All right.
I'll be right out front with you. The use doesn't horrify me. Two things I don't like right off the get-go, a nighttime lighting and the location of the road.
The location.
The proximity to the abutter on that side.
Well, I agree with you that it is close to the property line, but if you're familiar at all with that site, I don't want to assume you are or you're not.
I am.
Okay. The sight lines as you move down the curve become not ideal.
Right, but that's quite a grade you guys are climbing right there.
It's a steeper grade as we move down there.
But there's also an established entrance farther down already.
No, we're on top of the existing entrance.
There's another entrance
Oh,
with
the
the
other,
dumpsters.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest with you, for this proposal at this point, we're proposing the driveway here. That's something we can certainly take a look at.
I just wanted to get out front and say
No, I
those
appreciate that.
are,
That's
those
why
are
we're
my
here.
two concerns. And I'd really like to see you guys reach out to the abutters,
That is the next.
you know, and not even necessarily in this.
Yeah.
Probably gonna
Forum.
get a chance right now.
We just
Any
got-
any other from the board? Are there any abutters here tonight? Would anyone like to speak one at a time, and if you would, can you give your name? We'll let, if you can holler from down back, it'll be okay, Fred.
Deb Carboni, 123 Scotland Road. I'm very concerned about commercial property on a residential area, which will mean I could be sandwiched between that side and possibly my other side. I don't like that idea at all.
Is there anyone else from the abutters that's here tonight that would like to speak and give your name?
Mike Carboni, 121 Scotland Road. The nighttime lighting is, you know, well, the lighting in general is a pretty big concern of mine. You know, if you stand anywhere on that side of the road and you know, you look towards Newburyport, you know, you see the hue of the highway, you see the hue of the city. If you turn around and look towards Martin Burns, you don't see anything like that. I think it would be a drastic kind of change on that evening environment on that side of the road for more people than just myself being, you know, 300 feet away.
Anyone else? Is the board satisfied? Enough
Well, I mean, we
questions?
don't, we're just
This is
taking in
just
information
information.
We're
today,
strictly,
so.
yeah, if you have any concerns like you raised, no,
In fact,
that's what we'll.
Martha, when a special permit request is made, how long do we have to act on it? Can you remember?
Well, you need
This
to,
board.
you'll schedule a public
Yep.
hearing, presumably as soon as you can, probably about a month after submission. So notice to the newspaper is required.
But we don't have per se a requirement of how quick we have to satisfy that special permit?
Once you open the public hearing for the special permit, it can stay open as long as it needs
All right,
to.
good, because some of the ones that we used to do. on
So
the
that doesn't
planning
start a
board
clock?
couldn't.
Not for the special permit.
All right, good.
Once it closes,
Get
then you have to
another
file a
comment
decision within a certain period of time, but the special permit can take what
Okay.
it needs to. And you might want to have a site walk as part of that
Yep.
process.
Thank you, that was very illuminating. Frank?
Frank Berlino, 10 Maple Terrace, Newbury. I'm one of the realtors that pulled the parties together. Eric, would you please explain to us a little more about the lighting, the type of lighting you're going to use, and how in this day and age we can control lighting pretty much the way we want to?
Sure. We're gonna do LED lighting, there'll be backstill lights, so there'll be obviously no backlight to it. And just to talk a little bit about the hours, the winter, we're not gonna be using the lights. The lights will be put on in the spring, in the summer, having the short hours really will be only half an hour will be on, and then in the fall. But with technology, really, it's almost like a floodlight. And we'll show that with the sub-study that we'll submit to when we do the formal submit to the.
Would you anticipate shorter hours of operation in the winter or no?
Absolutely, absolutely. We won't be open at night. The ice cream will be closed and the golf. And really, if it gets below 20 degrees, you know, you go with radiant heat, but if it's windy, you're not gonna open just for practicality reasons. So very short hours in the winter.
So under, Martha, under the size that this triggers, what do they trigger in our zoning laws, I mean, for site plan review?
Well, I think in this case, the parking certainly does, because it's more than 6 spaces.
Yeah.
Probably, I don't know how large the pro shop, ice cream shop is gonna be, but that might trigger as well.
All right, so that's about all beyond the special permit, right?
And, yeah, I haven't looked at it in detail myself, there might be other criteria.
And the
that
wet, and the
triggers.
wetland.
And the wetlands, you know, the conservation commission is, as well as the stormwater, investment in the stormwater.
Yes. Yes.
Hi, Janine Cunningham, 143 Scotland Road. You were talking about open year-round, weather permitted. I mean, if it's a nice day and
Yeah,
that's the,
absolutely. You get a January day that's 60 degrees, we will be
okay.
open.
But if it's like the snow year of 2015,
Yeah.
you're probably not going to be there.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right,
Absolutely.
just to clarify, yeah.
All right, is everyone in the audience? Any other
Are
questions?
there any butters here than any of these homes? That
Yes.
are-
Yeah.
Yeah, all of us are in those homes, yeah.
Yeah,
So you're all, okay.
yeah.
All right, any other from the board? Then thanks, guys.
I appreciate it, thank you for
Thank
your
you.
time.
Well, we're getting through it. It could be a long meeting, but we're moving right along. Thank you so much. Sam, do you have something for us that you want to maybe illuminate? Where did Sam Jocelyn know? Then I'll read it. Hopefully I can read it. Recently, from Sam, the Newbury Building Commissioner, you'd like a motion from us, I guess. Recently, a resident has applied for a permit to construct a clean room for a very sick child. Permit fees for that project or this project would normally be in the 150 to 200 range. Although this is not a very large sum of money, doctor visits and treatments have placed an extremely financial burden on the family. After fire, flood, and other disease in the town has adopted a policy of waiving the fee to reduce the burden on families afflicted during a trying time. As I can think of nothing more disastrous than trying to have a child this ill, I would ask the selectmen to waive the fees associated with the construction of this specialized space needed to make the child comfortable out of respect for privacy. The family is not here. I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
I'm just really glad Sam brought it to us.
Yeah, it's good. Plum Island beach cleaning.
No, Donnie Jerry.
Oh, Donnie, I skipped you.
Sir, what's up?
Come on up. Come on up.
Where should I stand?
Right
I'm
there,
sitting here.
right there. This is quite a thing. It's in 2019, you think?
Yeah, so,
Actually, can you come on this side, because
Yeah.
you picked up by that, it's more,
So, as the grave officer, my big focus is honor and respect across the board for the veterans here in town. Not a lot. So, as the flags go, there were recently in South Byfield, there were flags that were in trash barrels. So with the honor and respect thing, I went out and I fixed that. I put tubes out, PVC tubes to put the flags in. To continue that, my next focus to honor and respect the
these are
veterans.
the flags, when they're beside the grave, they throw them on the ground?
Well, I found them in the.
Oh, they blow
Yeah.
over?
I found them in the trash, I found them in the driveways, so I fixed it. There's 2 out now, there's gonna be more out, and my goal is to have all the cemeteries, will have them by Memorial Day.
Super.
So, I'm just testing it to see how it works so far, before I go crazy. But going crazy,
Patent this one.
what's up?
Patent this one.
Yes, it's an easy fix. So the top screws off, the bottom screws off.
Yeah, don't let this one go.
Coming out. It's nice. Evergreen has it, and so does Byfield. So to grow on that, the honor and respect piece, on 2019, I'm looking at bringing the Vietnam Wall to Byfield.
Really?
Yeah, I've done a lot of research in the last 3 or
This is
4
the
months.
moving wall.
It was called the Moving Wall. It was in Durham last week. There's another version of it that's gonna be in Haverhill in June. It travels between August and November each year. And then the new names are added as they're added in DC. It's half the size of DC. So this is a screenshot of what I'm looking at. And what I need from you guys, the rec committee, I've already met with them, and we're gonna use Manchester Field.
Yep.
It's the best location in town, given the size of this project. So what I need from you guys is to go ahead, so I can form a committee to make this happen. Now, between now and 2019, there's gonna be several meetings with you folks, as well as the rec committee and other people that would be involved with this. Chief Ryan and I have already spoken about this, and I'll talk to the fire chief as well, because there's gonna be a lot of moving parts. It is open 24 hours for 5 days. Security is not gonna be that big of an issue, because we'll have volunteers. We don't need a police presence all 5 days. It arrives a Thursday afternoon and it leaves Monday afternoon, per se. So what this tells you, I'll quickly run through it. So, what it tells you is what the moving wall is. It's half the size of the wall in DC. DC is almost 500 feet, this is a little over 350. And I've included pictures so you can get a feel of how big this is gonna look. It's huge. Given the site, given the size of this project, Manchester Field is the best location. I drove around to many other fields, well, Spencer Pierce, there you go, and Manchester Field is where it's at, for what I want to do.
How heavy is this
It's aluminum panels,
Yeah.
actually aluminum panels.
She's,
Oh, okay.
this is Tracy, we do a lot of things in town together. She's from Waltham, they had the wall down there last year, and she was a volunteer.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
So
so
she's
Great
very
to have
familiar.
experience. Thank
very,
you.
very impressive.
Very big, it's a very big undertaking. I'm excited to kind of bring it to town, to tell you the truth. It will, like I said, the next paragraph, it's here Thursday, that's through an escort it arrives through, which is what the chief and I already talked about in addition to the security throughout. And it leaves that following Monday, so it's 5 days, open 24 hours. I don't expect crime to be a problem with this. It's gonna be a very respectful.
Weekend, do you?
So, because it's so far out, we're looking at July, August 2019. I have to lock in the date a year before it comes out. So the rec committee and I will meet again next spring and lock that in.
Right, so we'll get plenty of
We got
time
plenty
to
of
worry
time.
about
So,
stuff on these.
they told me they want a year, and about a year planning.
Okay.
I'm very thorough, it's kind of the military thing, you attention to detail. And I want to be very open and fluent with you guys, so I'm allowing 2 years. And then you'll see there's a lot of things that I want to cover and potentially do. So I figured if I allow extra time, any roadblocks or hiccups can be addressed. You know, so we can make it really a great event for the town. We have a lot of Vietnam veterans that live in Newbury, and this actually expands more beyond Newbury. Surrounding communities, people will come as far as Gloucester, Maine. I met a individual today who every time it's in New England, he goes. Doesn't matter where it's at. So people will be traveling outside of Newbury to come. So it'll be a great event.
Karen Tyler, yeah?
What's that?
Karen.
Yeah, so I talked to Karen a week, and so she's involved with this and a few other things we're working on.
Wonderful.
So she couldn't be here tonight. I asked her to show up. She had a commitment she had to go to. So yeah, I've also talked to Lenny Murr, Cal Course, Brad Hill, Bruce Tarr, and Kitty House, because it's going to involve their community as well. It's that big of a project. So I want to kind of I want them to help me reach to their constituents to get involved. The wall arrival will arrive via an escort of sorts. I don't know exactly, but when it arrives to other towns, it involves multiple police agencies, different veteran groups, motorcycle groups. So it's a big entourage. So when we get to that route, we'll talk about the route that it will take to come here. It may not be this exit. It may go the Scotland Road exit, depending on what's best for them. That we can discuss down the road. This is a snapshot of what.
Is it, when you say escort, is it more like almost a parade? Sort of thing?
I don't like parades, so we won't call it a parade. But if you want to be out there, we can call it a parade.
Well, I wasn't sure if, since it's going to involve surrounding communities, should we start up at Newburyport so that it gets more exposure?
We definitely could, and that can be open for discussion. When we start talking that route, because when the route will have to be discussed because of how big the entourage will be.
Yes.
So it may have to go a certain way for traffic reasons, so I wanted to make that kind of a from the back of the burner discussion per se. Hey, this is something's coming up. We may have to talk about the ideal route. And then there is going to be a committee, which is the next page. I would like to have a liaison from the board. That way, I'm not here, or someone that we're working with is here all the time to kind of relay. One of you guys can just give a little checkup. Oh, hey, we talked about X, Y, and Z. It just seems easier for me to have a liaison. A point of contact. Inclement weather. It is going to be July or August, but sometimes rainstorms happen or crazy weather. So one of my concerns is not just protecting the wall, but protecting the field or property. So that is something that we're keeping an ear on. Committee meeting location. As we get closer, could we utilize this space if possible, or another space in town to host these meetings for the wall? We got time. I'm announcing it formally at the art festival at Manchester Field. Hey, Mo. He's had a long day. And then the next page talks about the ceremony. Some people do multiple ceremonies. I'm not a fan of the dog and pony show, as I call it. So we'll do at least one, and that'll be the Saturday afternoon that it's here. There are things that I will be looking to do around that. And we don't need the permission now to do these things, but one of them would be a military flyover, which I have access to pull that off. And the other thing I'd like to do, which I've had some discussions with, is the field is cited as a med flight landing zone. So I don't want med flight, but I want a Black Hawk. And we can discuss that as we get down. And I showed you possible locations where we could have the Black Hawk. Not for an amusement park per se, but like to really add to the impact of the wall.
Black Hawk would hurt.
I love Black Hawks. Chinooks are my favorite, but that might be a little more tough to squeeze in here. But Black Hawks, it would be a nice little thing to kind of show by the entrance.
Yes.
For the ceremony.
Hey,
And
Donnie.
again, we can talk about that. We can get the area to come up and talk about landing procedures and all that.
Johnny, can you get him put NPD on the side of that? Just for the day?
I can ask the general.
Next thing I remember, Dr. NPD.
But I think it would add to the impact of the wall. We can, again, screenshot, I'm just gonna throwing things at you guys, what we're looking at. We don't need the approval for those things yet, but that's something that's already been brewing in my head. And then the other thing with this is flagpole. It is a military thing. We don't have a flagpole at Mansion Field. I'm not looking to install one, although it'd be nice. But we could put temporaries up. And that's what we can talk about down the road is, am I okay to put temporary flagpoles up? What would be the ideal design to put a temporary flagpole up? Or can I purchase one and donate it to the town for this as a permanent fixture? Which I thought about doing as a trade-off for doing it. You know, this event, I think we'll get a lot of community support and surrounding community support. So if a donation of a flagpole isn't gonna work, we can do it. Or we can do temporary. It's either one's fine with me. But it's something to think about.
Like that idea.
You know, so I'm not gonna lie to you, I've stood at the field several times, just looking around and viewing and how the wall would look and this and that. So I think a flagpole, not just for this, but for multiple events would be nice. And it's something that probably hasn't been talked about. So, but this could be the reason to kind of bring it up.
So are you looking for a motion from us today to form a committee?
I'm looking for the motion today that supports the initial project so I can go back and form the committee and get things rolling. And then we would bring ideas to you guys, like flyover, Black Hawk, flagpole, and other big items, escort, for further approval. We just need the approval on the wall itself. So we can form the committee and start doing the groundwork. Secure the location before coming to you guys.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Do you have funding for this, or?
So I'm gonna be raising a lot of money for this. Most towns raise about 20, 30,000. The wreaths that I do for Veterans Day, for the holidays, will pay for the deposit of the wall this year. The deposit needs to go up next year. It's about $3.5, $4 grand. I'm not concerned that the funding will be an issue on this. Some things can be donated to bring the funding down, which it's already looking that may be happening anyways.
Okay, so one of your subcommittees in this committee is gonna be looking for.
So one of the subcommittees is
fundraising.
responses. Yep. One of them is finance, one of them is fundraising, media, law enforcement, medical, veteran services.
So because it kind of caught my eye, was you don't want any vendors here.
Correct. So the reason why I don't want vendors is I don't want to take away from the
You don't
wall.
want to commercialize it.
I don't, exactly. It's not about making money. It's not about advertising. You'll get that through sponsorship. But when you're there at Mantor Field, you're there for the wall. That's it.
Do me a favor, let's make a motion so that we have that motion.
I have just one quick question. Who carries the insurance for all this?
I was just gonna say, make a
So-
motion, those who will discuss it.
That's something that the rec committee hasn't talked to me about. I was there and I said, hey, what do you have any questions? If I need to pull insurance, I will.
What JR, what I wanted was a little bit of a motion, but what he's asking is someone's gonna have to actually go to Alan and get a permit. You know, so.
We can talk about that. It hasn't been brought up yet, but it is a concern. And something we have talked about is insurance.
I will bring it up at the next veterans meeting. And I think we have insurance for events, not positive, but I will research that for you.
And this is why I'm allowing 2 years and not
I think
1
it's
year.
a
So
great idea.
we're not trying to get down your throat.
Yeah.
And then the next couple pages shows sky views of how big this wall looks.
Actually,
And it's nice. It's going to look, if you look at the ceremony photo, you'll see exactly where I'm looking to put the wall. And that's the marsh in the back. So up by the road, this is Central Street. So up by the road in the parking lot would be where the birds could potentially live. And then in the back is the wall. Because the idea is when the flyover comes up the river, it's gonna look really nice. And it's not far enough, not my main thing, but when you pull in, it's quiet and it's far enough away from the road where it's still, if you're standing at the wall, there's no distractions.
I'm just curious, what are you thinking about getting for a flyover?
I can get jets out of keys.
Must be nice.
So you're gonna get.
Yeah, jets. But with that comes, I had to talk to the neighbors and let them know, I don't want people freaking out that World War III's happening.
This was my breakfast
You know,
conversation.
but it adds to the impact.
There's no sonic boom, right?
No. We could, but I'd rather not. I think the impact of the flyover, you may have seen it at sporting events.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very moving experience. So it'd be a nice feature.
So
We can
let's
discuss
have a
that.
motion to get Dawn started down the road of trying to put this together.
So to clarify,
That's the form
before
of
we
committee.
start,
Yeah.
so do you want to have us approve of moving forward, or do you want the town to form a committee?
I'll form the committee. I
Okay,
just need
just
the
wanted to
approval to
double
do
check
that.
that.
You don't need to do anything, do you?
No, you don't need to do anything. I just, besides the approval, so, I'm bringing along, I'm going, you guys aren't gonna deal with it. I don't wanna-
I move that we approve Donnie moving forward with this project.
To
and
establish in the committee, yeah.
Once he has established a committee, we
Yeah.
appoint selectmen's liaison.
So that'll, that's in June, we'll probably
Second
come
one.
back August, September, and then we can work out kinks and questions.
Now you're all discussed out, aren't you guys?
Do you have any questions? You guys have any?
No, I think it's exciting. I always wanted to see the real thing. And
So this is gonna give the opportunity for a lot of residents who can't travel to see this. It is half the size, but it's the same impact. You know, we have Vietnam vets here in town that I'm sure are friends of the wall. You know, so the impact is gonna be far and wide, huge.
I think this is a fantastic project.
I
Thank you
have
for
a
bringing it
question.
to us.
Is it the same names on the big wall, it's
Yes.
just a smaller school?
Yeah.
It's all the same names?
All the same
Nobody's
names.
left
So
off?
DC is updated
Okay.
every year, and this is updated in the spring before it goes up.
Okay.
So, and my grandfather was also a Vietnam vet. I'm named after him, first name, middle initial, and last name. The ironic thing is, when I was in Afghanistan, I was attached to the same brigade he was, on his second tour. And Mocha wears the patch. So to me, it's more than just like, another community event. It's like it's a very meaningful behind, yeah.
It's big. It'll,
So it's-
will be thousands of people who will attend, and they do attend 24 hours a day. It's quite shocking to think about that, but several people just come in the middle of the night because that's the way
Yeah.
they can reflect and handle it. So it is a 24-hour operation for those days, and it is fully staffed by volunteers the whole time.
Something to think about.
So,
And we should have working bathrooms by that point.
So I covered that, because I wasn't sure if it was gonna work out. So restrooms will be discussed by the committee. I don't mind renting the porta potties.
I was gone when I went, no,
No, I did put that as an item on the thing because I wasn't sure how Nature Field will look by 2019. We can only hope. But I will rent porta potties if need be.
We'll have to look at that.
Again, 2-year window for,
We have two, yeah, hopefully.
I don't wanna do a year window and then all these hiccups come up. And then we're just cramming time.
No, best to, go slow and get everything ironed out, moving the safe all the design, so.
And we will,
I'll work with you what I can on the board.
You can be a
I'd like-
liaison.
I'd like to work with you on the flagpole too, directing that, okay?
Thank you. Are
So
you gonna be at the
Go to the
cemetery?
committee meeting, I mean,
Will you be at the
recreation committee
cemetery
meetings,
meeting?
figure out where, and,
That's
I think
really.
yes,
I think it'd be great.
So,
And we could donate.
Any other discussion?
perfect.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye. Thank you.
I'll see you in summer. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
thank you.
Okay, we've already entertained the OPM design, so now we have a discussion.
they obviously know.
Wild beach cleaning. Tracy, where do we stand, what do we have before us tonight, so I understand it?
We had a number of correspondence that went back and forth, and at the suggestion of our conservation agent,
The thing is,
Hacker, we thought it might be a good idea to bring everyone together to have a discussion about how we want to move forward and keep moving in the future.
Okay, so you're ready to tell us some things, and you're gonna discuss some of the things that we need to be aware of in the beach cleaning that's going on now?
I'm going to give you some of the issues. I won't give you a lot of the answers. We're still working on those. I'm working with town council. I'm going to meet Division of Marine Fisheries,
Which town
Fish
council?
and Wildlife, I should say.
Pick a town council.
And Audubon on the beach tomorrow.
So you're not looking for something earth-shattering out of us tonight?
No, I'm looking to give you some information, or as much information as you want, relative to cleaning on the beach and why we do it. And we get a lot of material that floats down the river, we get a lot of material on the beach. Some of it's hazardous, some of it's not.
I need
It's important that we clean our beaches, but it's also important that we do them in the right manner so that we respect the wildlife down there and we respect the rules and regulations, 310 CMR, the Wetlands Protection Act, and our beach management plan.
Thanks, man.
There's a combination of land ownership down there that makes it a little more difficult, and that's one reason the town council's involved now. You have some town-owned land down there. You have land down there that is under the town's control relative to a beach management plan because of the fill area that we did when we dredged the river. So from Center Island, 2,200 feet north, the town has some control over those parcels relative to the beach management plan. From Center Island to about 800 feet north, the town owns several parcels. I don't know how many. Probably 50 feet in front of Jeannie's. Sometimes it's land underwater, sometimes it's coastal beach. So the town does have some parcels there. A little further up the beach, we own one at 35th Street and then another one at 41st. But that's about it. So from 23rd Street or 80 Northern Boulevard, north to the Newburyport line, with the exception of those two parcels, which are probably 70 feet wide, and your rights of way that extend down onto the beach is all private property on the beach. So that complicates this issue. Relative to those people might not realize that there is no real authority to clean the beach in front of their places. That there's a certain amount of liability involved. Very little. You know, if the beach is cleaned right, there's no damage to the beach. That's why there's conditions that you clean it by. And if you don't, there could be some. But it's not a very complicated procedure. It's something that protects the health and the safety of the citizens down there, if done correctly. But we also have to be aware of the fact of some overlapping rules, regulations, and jurisdiction.
We've been cleaning the beach for a long time. What precipitated this event?
Mostly with the Plover's Landing. When you do a beach fill area, you create a habitat for them that isn't there now. So big wide expanse of sand, you plant it, it's rather sparse. These birds are sight birds, that's what they like. So it's been, what now, 5, 6 years since the project. The beach is acting like it ought to. You've got a big wide beach at Center Island. You've got sparse growth along with a really dense, beautiful dune system. That's their habitat. That's what they like. They travel from there down to the rack line for food and then up and down the beach. They are really susceptible to human traffic and to vehicle traffic when they first hatch. They're small, they cannot even get out of the tracks. If you make a track down the beach, say in the four-wheeler, when you come back the other direction, you don't want to be in that track again because they'll get down in that track, they get caught in there. So there's certain little best management practices that you follow when you do these things. There are regulations that stipulate a take if you harm these animals within a certain distance from the nest. So you want to identify your nest early on. You want to have a monitor down there if you're going to have an activity on the beach. I mean, these are all things that can be worked out, but these are things that I don't have definitive answers for you tonight and things that we're going to work on. Hopefully I can have an answer for you at your next Selectmen's meeting.
Are those at all, and I'm not setting you up, trust me, but are they in the beach management plan?
The authorization to do these activities under the land that's controlled is allowed in the beach management plan. The beach management plan was a notice of intent that then became an order of conditions. But the private properties aren't bought into that. So there's no real authority to impose that on the private property. They can in turn buy into it if they want and use it with acknowledgement, but right now it does not have authority over the property.
So this is the beach cleaning that they can buy into. What about the plover restrictions that exist?
Well, that's federal and state law, so they're federally and state protected. So there's things that you need to do and things that you can't harass them, you can't hurt the things that support them, their environment, their food source, those kind of things. But the Audubon Society and a few of the others that go down there and monitor it, they had a little bit of a learning curve also because they went on the property last year and maybe the year before. They put up signage, they did a little fencing, things such as that, not realizing they were on private property. They too, for a long time, just thought that it's the town of Newbury Beach, and that's not exactly the case.
All right.
Anything else, guys?
So we've created a new habitat that is essentially creating some new difficulties for us, essentially.
Yeah, and it's funny, when you ask these people for a sign-off on the project, they come down, and I was somewhat confused at first when we entered into this negotiation with them, because I'm looking at this area, and there's no habitat here, we're not having any habitat, what's the problem? Well, if you create something inviting for them, you're gonna take care of them afterwards.
Okay.
But I mean, it's not just us, correct me if I'm wrong, it's not just us two with the, putting the sand on the beach with the dredge. But I mean, if you have a lot of accumulation of sand over the winter on the beach, you're gonna attract others.
Oh,
If
yeah,
I'm
you know,
mistaken.
if
And
you
it's
had
an
an
ongoing
overwash,
process that's been going on Plum Island for ages.
absolutely,
So-
absolutely.
Yeah.
If I may, I could just give you some background and
Mr. Connors, Bob Connors?
some information that may be helpful and maybe not. I put together just a little handout for the committee. It's enough copies for everybody. Bob Connors, 39 Annapolis Way. Our company back in 2011 adopted the beach through the Newbury, the NOTS program. It was a Newbury
Official town sponsor.
right.
Yes.
So, and we've been doing that really ever since. I mean, basically you have three things that are required to keep a beach clean, healthy, and enjoyable. I mean, one is removing all the heavy debris that washes ashore. Trees, branches, wood, timbers, really anything that will float down the river or offshore. Unfortunately, we're now having a problem with medical waste, fishing gear. I don't think it's a shock to anybody, but it has really become a major problem. Considering when people use the beach, no one's wearing their Timberland work boots when they're going down there. They're either flip-flops or barefoot. The most noticeable thing that's happening now is that there's studies that have surfaced throughout the country where that although the Commonwealth does a regular water monitoring of the water, they do not of the sand. And what they've determined now by study, and I've referenced this in here and there's some attachments for you, that although the waterway may be closed for one day, the bacteria count that is on the beach could be 10 to 100 times higher for weeks on end, or for a longer period of time. And by beach cleaning, one, you remove the debris, remove the normal debris that reduces public enjoyment. Two, you remove the fishing gear and medical waste, which really takes care of the public safety. But during the process, you're basically aerating the sand. Because you're literally digging an inch of sand that goes up a conveyor and it falls through a sieve. That aeration is one of the key factors of destroying the bacteria. So those are the issues. We clean the beach in Newburyport. We do this obviously all pro bono, and it's been at the request of most of our neighbors. I can only think of a couple of people that really have asked us not to clean in front of their property. There's nesting going on right now between about 80 Northern Boulevard to about 100 Northern Boulevard. And in the Newburyport area, it's in their northern section of their beach. Basically, if you went to the jetty and came back 500 feet. The beach fill, interestingly, stopped right around 80 Northern Boulevard. From that area south down to Marty Sarigian's house, which is the last house on Plum Island and Fordham Way. There's no nesting, certainly there hasn't been because it's still in a high hazard, high water zone. So Doug and I have been working with this over the years, and traditionally the only time we have an issue is when the Audubon comes out, identifies nesting areas. And then it becomes a determination of one, who has the authority to determine the restriction on the beach. I'll be honest with you, most of your Plum Island residents take for granted the beach gets clean and they assume it's done by the town, quite frankly. it's been probably one of the more calming effects dealing with some of the other issues we've had there. It's been one less issue that residents and the public going to the beach have had to deal with. So what we would like to do is, we kind of mapped out how we've been doing this. I mean, typically what we've done in the past is, Doug has had really no issue south of Center Island. In talking to all the neighbors, and certainly, if you want 100 people down here, you can get 100 people down here, and they'll tell you exactly what they would like to see. But we would like to be able to have an area up in the, I think I mentioned it, the 43rd Street through 51 Street, it's about 600 feet. It's over 1,000 feet away approximately from any nesting, but it gives that whole northern part of the community a relative oasis to be able to go to the beach, not worry about medical waste, not have seaweed rack, fishing gear, lobster pots. And the same thing when you get to Center Island. That's where all your transient beachgoers go. It's where really most of our problems are because of the transient nature of using a public beach. We would recommend that we be able to clean an area from Center Island up to about 12th Street. And that's about, I think, about 800 feet, I think.
Just about, pretty close.
And typically that gives a majority of the people that are going to the beach north of Center Island a place to go if they want a beach where they don't have to really worry about everything we've already mentioned.
Typically, the way they nest on the beach, like Bob says, they're north of 80, and they're south of, say, so they're somewhere between 23rd and 35th Street, somewhere in there. If you had these two areas, once they get identified and they nest, after a certain amount of time, even if they do nest, it's not going to be successful. So at that point there, you can identify these areas of the beach where you know you have no nesting, where they're not apt to be found, and we could develop a program where we could be somewhat flexible with the areas that we allow, especially during the April 1st to September 1st time period.
Is this something you're gonna do? You're gonna be the Clover Police?
Where the Conservation Commission has the authority over this, unfortunately, this is something I'm going to do.
It's a bit of a moving target, but you know that's to real time today. Those are really the locations where, I mean, certainly I have a heightened awareness. I mean, obviously we do this voluntarily, so it's.
Well, you're not looking for anything beyond giving us that information tonight?
Oh, yeah, I think this is for information only,
Yeah,
really,
for
right?
tonight, it's information only. I do want to talk, as I alluded to at the beginning of when I started speaking, I want to talk to Ginny, and I want to nail down the actual jurisdiction of this, and whether those properties that are private properties that have not bought into this plan yet, if they need to buy into it, or if it already covers them, if they choose to. Maybe they indemnify the town, they indemnify Mr. Connors, and they buy into the beach management plan with a simple form letter that we can send out to it. It may be something as simple as that. I don't really know yet. That'll be up to Ginny to kind of inform me what we need to do relative to the legal aspect of it.
So it seems to me with the amount of expertise we have here and the cost of the project, it's going pretty well.
Thank you.
Well, obviously, we would wish the town was continuing on with the project, but this got interrupted because of fiscal constraints that we hit back in 2009, 2010.
And it depends on how aggressive we get with this, Jeff. If we get so that we need and we want to clean the beach, and we need somebody down there, we're likely going to have to hire someone to go down there. When we go down there, we might give someone a call and say, we need you down there for 2 hours. I want you to identify the nest. I want you to tell me where the birds are. We're going to come by with our equipment while you watch us. You're going to be a couple hours. There may be a cost involved. Don't know yet.
The good thing about the two areas that we described, we have certainly access at Center Island to bring everybody down to the beach. And it's either 47th or 51st Street. Again, that's another area where you can get equipment on the beach. So we really don't have to travel near, in front, or around any of the identified nesting areas. Now, certainly that can change. But the Audubon has been on top of that. I think it's having a reasonable management where, unfortunately, this matter gets compounded because the wildlife refuge chooses to close the entire beach.
Audubon does all the state beaches, they have a contract with DCR, so they're down there on the beach anyway, they do the Newburyport end, they do the Salisbury end, and where they also were doing the federal end, they were just picking ours up on the way by. I don't think they're likely to continue that without some type of agreement with them.
Okay.
I would end this with DCR owns Salisbury Beach, and Salisbury Beach is cleaned every week by DCR, according to Don Lebeck.
That's a very good point.
So, well, thank you for your time. If you have any questions, let me know. And
I'm sure we will.
And like, I want to thank all you guys. Everyone around this table does a lot for this town, and certainly you're never compensated for the time, energy, and aggravation that you enjoyed in your public official.
Well, we are making a little more money than you are on beach cleaning.
You know, I don't have to come down here for a meeting. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Doug. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you so much.
Dave?
Hi, Dave Williamson, One Southern Boulevard. Relative to the beach cleaning, I'm assuming this is something you want to continue going forward. The new plans that you approved last week for Plum Island Center, is there still room for Bob to get his machine in and out?
Absolutely.
Is there room for
Absolutely.
him to deposit so the town picks it up?
Yes, yes.
Would that be the same access as people going in and out, or?
Absolutely, yeah, that would be the shared access onto the beach, yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Doug. All right, we do have stuck in the middle here, among other things that are stuck in the middle, we have a vote to sign the FY17 year-end appropriation transfers.
You can wait until the end for that if you want to take this.
Okay, if you want to do what?
Historical Commission? Do you want to do the?
Then let's do the request for the one-year renewal for the FY17 audit. Do we have to make a motion for that, Tracy?
Yeah.
A motion on the floor, request for a one-year renewal for,
Just Ian Hingston.
Yep. Request for a one-year renewal for
Just Ian Hingston.
Justine Hingston for the FY 2017 audit.
is there any discussion on that?
Is there any reason we shouldn't go with them?
No, we were putting together an RFP to go out just to solicit competitive proposals as a best management practice, but we haven't been able to pull it all together, so we wanted to request the board consider a one-year extension of their existing contract until that time.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
We have a vote to sign these FY17 year-end appropriation transfers. The Finance Committee has voted all in favor of these, Tracy?
With the exception of one that came in after their last meeting.
How quickly does this need to be done?
We can't pay bills until these are.
Well, the reason I'm asking is I haven't had a chance to review them, and we're going to be meeting on Friday, and so I'd
That's fine. Yep.
like to table
Friday's
this till
fine.
Friday.
That's not a problem.
So I move to table this until Friday.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
What the hell are you guys doing today? All right. We have talked about town council. Tim Levy, where are you? Tim, you want to speak to us about the lower green? And can you provide a solution to?
Well, that's easy enough. The issue is that the soil along the green is getting compacted by vehicles parking on it. And you're starting to see tree roots coming up through the soil. You're starting to see bare spots on the grass. When you have compaction around tree roots, it forces the ability for water to get down in there. It forces out the ability for oxygen to get to the roots. So these trees are going to start to slowly die and will need to come down. I think the historical nature of the green is such that it probably should be looked at as not being a place where vehicles are allowed to park. I think where the vehicles are coming from is boat ramp There may be events that go on where people park, you can park around it. I doubt that the state's gonna allow parking on the state highway, but it may just be having to post and initially enforce not allowing people to park on the green.
This came before us, excuse me, this came before us when? It's in the packet that.
2012.
2012.
I thought it was even earlier than that, so this is when, yeah. So it's been around for a while. All right, go ahead, Chuck, sorry.
Is there any way to fix the road that they can park on that road? Because I know a lot of people use that. We do have events, and I know it's an overflow from the landing. So,
Well, I mean, the issue is, there is, I believe, the road there. It goes, I think, 2/3 to 3/4 the way around the green.
Right.
I don't know if it goes completely out around the other side.
Oh, yeah.
If
No,
it does, then
that's-
you could, you know, easily have the overflow from, say, the boats, or from anything that would go on Old Town Hill if there were events there.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You know, because it's close enough that people could park along there. But the main concern is getting vehicles off of the green. You know, it's just, in time, it's gonna destroy the whole green. And then it's gonna be a major undertaking to bring it back to something that would even remotely look like the historical nature of what is there now. I mean, you can start to see that trees on there are starting to suffer. I mean, it's unfortunately a fairly common thing that's going on in town with trees that are, you know, getting older. We haven't been taking the time to, call it, maintain the trees. It's economics, you know, what it costs to take down a tree. I was absolutely shocked at what it cost because of prevailing wage, what it costs to take down a tree. And that's why when I talked to Tracy about increasing the budget, you can go pretty much on any street in town and see trees that really need to come down. But the issue there is that if we could take some of the money that's in the budget and start doing work on making sure those trees are preserved along there. In some cases, it might mean bringing in some more loam, maybe reseeding the area, but definitely some judicious pruning on the trees to make sure that rot doesn't start going in this way, and then it gets into the tree, and the tree looks fine, but then things happen. I throw this out as an example because it happened to me on Tuesday. I got a phone call from my daughter who said, I'm on my way to Portsmouth Hospital. She was jogging on a rail trail up in Epping. A 12-inch tree limb fell off, hit her in the leg, broke her leg, had a massive gash on her leg. And this is the kind of thing that happens, you know, if we don't start taking care of things. It's scary to think about, you know, activities that could be on the green and having a similar thing like that happen. And that's my concern. Let's see if we can start now preserving what we've got. Getting some loam in there, getting it reseeded again, getting it so that that soil can be uncompacted. I mean, there's horticultural gypsum that could be put down on the area to loosen up the soil naturally. And then, you know, loam on top, reseeding it. But all of that's for naught if we don't keep vehicles off of it in one way, shape, or form.
Are you thinking fencing or barriers of some sort?
Well, I mean, I think if you just post signs that say, hey, you park here, we're gonna tow your vehicle. I mean, I think it's a pretty neat way of keeping people from doing things if they're gonna pay on a Saturday for a Saturday tow and a day's storage.
Well, let's make a motion that can encompass a motion, let's say, that is going to stop parking on the green, and then we'll discuss that, because there's a lot of variables within this discussion.
I think the motion should include, with the exception of permitted events. because we do bring vehicles in there
Well,
with
make
our
that,
three
make
fifty.
that motion, make that motion, we'll discuss it.
So, motion to stop parking on the green except for special events. Second?
Now, discussion. We
As-
have something right here, sorry, Chuck, we have something from Tim Lamp, we have something from the Historic Commission, obviously, it is a historic green, it does have grass and tree roots, and I have even seen myself some of the trailers and trucks there turn right out onto the grass to make this swing to go back out the other way, which is not really that great, but we do and would be remiss in not speaking about the fact that and our harbor masters here, is that we have a pretty active boat ramp right now. We have a pretty active boating segment of our community, not weighing one more than the other, not weighing one more than a tree. But that's probably, at least in my lifetime, when I didn't have a boat at a marina, there was some significant parking that road was utilized for just on a weekend, when it really got busy, or a holiday. But I'll ask you in a sec, Mike, what you think, Brad, Chuck, you have something to say?
I was just gonna say, let's see what Mike's got to say.
Mike? How would it feel to be on the line again?
One of the things that we are concerned with is on a warm weekend, it's busy. And they're all residents, they're all have proper permit parking stickers, and they've paid for those, and there's just not enough room down at the ramp. And that's where the overflow parking is going to. And it's a difficult situation because I can appreciate what's going on environmentally with the trees and things. We discussed in the past sitting down with the Riverfront Marine and with the Old Furnace Marine, I don't know what it's called now, the kayak company, about overflow parking and maybe people paying to park over there. But those are discussions we haven't had this season. If you would like me to enter into discussions with them and see what we can come up with for a solution, that would be my pleasure. I'd have zero issues with that.
I know it's narrow. I can't imagine there's room for vehicles to park on the edge of the road, not on the routes, and still allow really safe passable.
Yeah, 1A is a state highway, so if they're out onto the pavement, we have to enforce the
I was
state
thinking
highway.
about the back.
Yeah, the back.
Too narrow.
It's a dirt road, it's too narrow, and what you're gonna see are people with their trailers attached,
Yeah.
pulling out onto the green itself to loop around and get off. It'll be a difficult situation. And I know from my own experience backing a trailer around, you stop parallel parking with trailers, it's a recipe for disaster doing that. So it's a tough situation, and I don't have any solution to it at this point. It's just on the warm weekend days, the boat ramp gets really busy and people overflow park over there. They've been doing it since forever, as far as I remember.
We need to find a solution to this to preserve the historic nature down there. I think moving forward with some remediation, if we can do it with natural products rather than trying to aerate the machine, I think that's much better for the trees. I don't know if you have a difference of opinion there.
Well, you can do the remediation, but if then you go right back again to parking vehicles on it, it's just good money thrown after bad. So,
Yeah.
Yes, you can put loam down, help cover the roots, and do things to, get the grass growing there again to be a natural buffer above the roots of the trees. But if you get, vehicles in there on call it a weekly basis for, what's the boating season, how many weeks? I can understand special events, you're gonna put something in there and somebody's gonna pull a trailer in that, let's say they're cooking or something, because of a special event there. That's every once in a while.
Yeah,
But
that's why I made
repeatedly, week after week after week of doing it.
Right.
The season to get the grass growing, unfortunately, coincides with the season for boating. And also the season for, special events.
It's funny, it hasn't been an issue that's not, we've been aware of. I think, Tracy, you and Martha, when one of the pieces of land were open, and first refusal was for the town. We even discussed maybe about trying to have, out of the wisdom of these two, they were discussing about when some of the land, but the road was pretty narrow and hard to get to. What's the name of the road that goes, Fred, what's the name of the road that goes up through? That is it?
Newman Road? Is that what you're talking
No,
about?
the road that leaves the ramp and goes up over the hill.
Oh, Riverfront.
Riverfront Road. But it's so narrow and hard to get to, but when some of that land came available, there was discussion on maybe being able to have some parking there, but it's too many houses, you can't get the cars up there. So it's gonna be real easy to just say we need to save the trees, we need to save the historic green, because we do. But it's gonna be real hard to stop, not having any parking anywhere. Lon,
I live right across the street, and
hey, give your name.
Lon Hockmeister, sorry, 281 High Road. I live right across the street from the green, so, we're talking like 4 to 7 trucks with their trailers at the most when there's some out there. But a lot of other cars come in and park, so they're meeting their buddy there, there's no place to put their car, they park there, and they get on the boat with buddy and go. And then, so the cars are lined up all day. But they do pull out, do wheelies with their big pickup trucks with their trailer behind out in the middle of the park. Now, the Historic Commission sent you something last October, asking you to consider having that being a no parking zone. And one recommendation we said was along that wall, by the stone wall, so if you've got the gravel road that goes around the green, you've got the stone wall on the west. You can actually pull along, you wouldn't be doing parallel parking, because it's like 500 feet long. So you could pull a boat and a trailer along there. You're not on the tree roots
The
there.
wall that's at Newman Road?
If you came off of Newman Road or off of 1A.
I believe the western border of the town green, of the lower green.
You got the Greenbelt property behind the wall.
Yeah, Greenbelt's on the other side.
To the west of the
Yeah.
school.
Closer to the river.
That wouldn't be doing so much damage to any trees there, because the trees are on the other side of the stone wall. But that would be a place you could put a few, it's not like we're talking about 20 trucks with trailers behind them, something like this. There aren't that many out there. But if you had some place besides underneath these trees, that's the bad part. And then, of course, there's no way to get out but to drive right out across the green. So they pull in underneath there and then come out and do.
Why don't they just continue around the corner? You can't make
Right.
that with a boat trailer?
What? That's what I'm saying, you could. But what they're doing is they're coming in off of 1A and then pulling in under the trees.
I can't imagine the boat that you would need to cut across the green with instead of just going around the road.
No, but they've already pulled under the green.
Right.
This is what the woods look like. So they've come in off of 1A, they pull in and then make an immediate right and get underneath those trees in the pictures. They get underneath the trees. And when they leave, they either have to back down the gravel road and get off, or just drive into the park. They drive into the park.
Tim, I'm not saying it's a good idea, and I'm not saying it's what I want to do. If you were gonna park on these routes, what kind of cushion would you need to put down to preserve the integrity of the trees, or is it just impossible?
Well, I mean, I think, if you look at it, pines, the roots are fairly shallow. Maples and oaks and things like that, the roots are deeper. But if you take that soil and over time just keep doing this, then those roots can't permeate out into, call it the center of the green. I mean,
It gets so compact.
It's an ideal place for trees to grow because it's open grassy area, they're getting the water they need. It's just, call it a bad situation for a bad term. I know it's an issue that's been going on for, a long, long time, but.
What got bad about 2012?
The stone wall in front of the Greenbelt property, how many pickups and pickup trailer combos is there room there for a future?
Depending upon the length, maybe 4, maybe 5.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I would say.
Depending upon the
That's right,
length.
otherwise they'd be down in front of the 7 tavern.
Yeah, depending upon the length. I mean, they're all different sized trailers.
Right.
Before we post the whole road as no parking, I certainly would discuss at least saving the trees. But Mike, can you take a look and see what is reasonable for parking in some of the areas that these guys are parking in, are talking about parking in, with absolutely no pulling out onto the grass?
Absolutely.
You know, if people begin to realize that they're not gonna ever have a chance to park overflow again, if they don't start smarting enough and go out the other gate, turn around and do what they're supposed to, and that doesn't mean they're gonna do it.
Right.
But I think before we close the whole road off,
Yeah.
and maybe we ought to make a motion, but before close the whole road off, I think we ought to take a look at what we have to be able to use. Fred?
Yeah, I would like to say something on this. Number one, quite a few of the cars that park there are out of state. Now, I don't know how they get rights to use the launching ramp, but maybe they're friends of somebody. But some of these out-of-state cars have trailers, and I don't know how they get to use the town of Newbury launching ramp. I haven't figured that one out. That's number one for enforcement question. But your point there is a good point about closing the whole road off. The back part of the road is where people park in parallel with the driveway for special events. That's where most of the people park, is on the back road, and they park in parallel. And that section has very few trees, unfortunately, because they've died and haven't been replaced. I offered to replace a tree, remember, a year ago, and Tracy turned me down, but I had a tree I wanted to get rid of, and I offered to have it planted over there, but I got turned down on that. But there should be more trees over there, but right now, that's a good place to park cars. Both sides, you know?
Can I say something? You know, we had a presentation from that student, Cole Ablow, about doing the
Upper
green
green.
or the upper green over. Well, I know he's got his sights on the lower green, because he said if this project does well, he's thinking about his nonprofit doing something with that lower green.
Well, I think it's my theme for tonight. Since we've asked the chief to look into overflow parking at Riverfront and Fernals, I'd like to hear back what they say. I think it's important that we have some overflow parking for our residents. And it's very important to protect this green. And so I'd like to do them all at once rather than sort of piecemeal it and say no parking, and then we're gonna scramble by the boat season to get things up and running. So Mike, do you think you can, before 2 weeks are up, at least initiate a conversation with those two
Absolutely.
entities?
Absolutely.
So I,
And I wouldn't throw out the utilization of the road itself for a few.
For parking.
Just not under the trees.
yeah, not pulling onto the green, but pulling in parallel with the road.
Could I just say, Steve Kenny, I'm in a butter in the Plummer Humphrey house to the green. I agree with Fred, don't have a photograph, but more than half of the cars typically are out-of-state plates. Many meeting friends, and I think there's just not care and respect, so they're the ones that just get back in and pull around. I'm just wondering if part of the compromise to consider is a no parking between signs or something that encompasses these beautiful trees, that give so
Oh,
much
yeah.
color to the
That-
green. Just meaning a
Yeah.
partial solution with hopefully the other section of the green remaining available for
But that
cars.
didn't sound that it was implied, it is implied.
One more thing, if I could. I have done a little study on this launching ramp situation, and I have compared Newbury's situation with Rowley's and with Ipswich's. And Ipswich has the same mess we have. They have no place to put the cars, and they're all over the streets and everywhere else. Rowley, on the other hand, has a nice situation because they happen to have a nice big spare field to park their cars in. And it's really nice because they keep it in grass, and, you know, they use it on weekends, but, you know, it's in grass, and it stays in grass, and it stays not bad looking, whereas the parking lot we have for the launching ramp now, it's got crushed pavement on it. Frankly, it looks like hell. It was given to the town as a park by Mrs. Bushy, and now it's a parking lot. I don't mind them parking on it, but I wish the heck they'd plant part of it back to grass so that it would look decent. I mean, it's an eyesore, it really is an eyesore. But it's a situation which could have been taken care of years ago if they had filled the area between the launching ramp and the state highway. That's long gone, that opportunity, but it would have solved a lot of the problem. You can't do it today, I guarantee you, but.
And then everyone hollers and pleads for the second ramp that Newbie might get someday.
Pardon me?
The second ramp that Newbie might get someday.
In that
Yeah,
location?
no, look for state funds, we're down next to the Plum Island. Bridge.
Yes, right.
But it's a bad place.
But
it
you
goes
know,
dry.
coastal zone management will put the nix
Oh,
on that.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so what's the motion?
I've made a motion to table this until our next Tuesday meeting.
All right, and Mike and everyone's gonna be prepared, so.
I don't know that anyone's second with
I was
that.
just gonna say, is there a second?
Second.
All right, any further discussion, all those in favor? We have town administrators report.
Yes. Just wanted to give you a very brief town meeting recap, our budget balance. We also had some feedback from meeting participants and a further discussion at the finance committee meeting about including some additional detail on the line item budgets in the booklet. We do cover it in our meeting here and in our finance meeting, so it was available on the cable access TV, but they suggested that we include that, so we'll add another page or two in the booklet on the next mailing. I'm sure you all know, but just officially we're welcoming Doug Janvern Jr. as Newbury's fire chief, as voted by the Board of Fire Engineers at their most recent meeting. Plum Island Center update, I had an opportunity to go before the Conservation Commission a week ago, and they did approve the submission, the proposal, so that we know at this point in time that we can do something there. This is just the first step, so the notice of intent was approved. There is an appeals period. I believe there were some comments from DEP that are being addressed by the engineers. Next step would be going to the building inspector, zoning board of appeals, and I believe that's it. I'm not sure if site plan review would be required. My guess is it might not trigger it, but
I'm not sure.
I'm not
I
sure.
talked to Sam about that.
Talk to Sam, okay. A couple of things did come up relative to bathroom facilities on that location. It was, some residents had voiced concerns about, why we weren't considering permanent bathroom facilities. I've always been told by inspectional services and public safety that that probably wasn't the appropriate location due to the fact that we experience overwash in that area. Long-term goal is to secure other property in the future to consider those facilities. There was a mention of grant funding, that we had received grant funding for it. I did have an opportunity to contact Senator Tarr's office. I spoke with Sarah Grant, who confirmed that there is no funding for that. I did make the Senator's office aware of the fact that if there were future opportunities for grant funding, we absolutely want to be made aware of those and would pursue them.
And Tracy, I followed up the same thing too at that time with Bruce, and it doesn't seem, that right now as the stars align, but if it could be the fact that there might be the ability to put bathrooms there, and we thought it was a wonderful idea, and everyone could go about it, there's no reason why bathrooms still couldn't be in that facility at that point, so.
Whatever you want to do. The other thing was, there was anecdotal information presented at the meeting that there was indeed a water and sewer connection installed in that location. We have confirmed with Newburyport that there is not.
There isn't.
There is not, so.
That changes things.
Yes, it does.
Whoa.
So that's where we're at on that. The senior citizen tax work-off program, currently we have 12 participants working with a wide skill set. It is the most number of participants we've had working at one time.
I've had somebody ask me about that program, and they want to know how they could, who would contact about it. I said,
Maggie Malley at the Council on Aging is who they should go see to participate. And the Byfield Estates Comprehensive Permit application has been received, and it's available in the office for your review.
It's also available online.
But it is up online?
Yeah.
What, typically speaking, full speed ahead, how far out are some things like that? Hard to say,
How far out in terms of how long the process?
or it will be finished.
It's really hard to say. The public hearing opens on May 25th, and depending on, how much discussion, how many issues there are, I think it has to be closed within 180 days, I believe, unless it's extended by mutual agreement. So,
That's where that stuff kind of comes in on those type of permits. Citizens' concerns.
Yes.
David.
Dave Williamson, 1 Southern Boulevard. Yeah, I wanted to thank the board and applaud you for making a decision to move forward to beautify Plum Island Center relative to the notice of intent, and go ahead and repave it and the stone wall. I think that's excellent. And while I totally support a viewing area for the physically challenged, I question that an 18 by 20 foot viewing area is the right priority, and versus a plan, a long-term plan for toilets and for trash management. I know you have a policy for carry in, carry out, but my opinion is that's not working. It hasn't worked. And we have porta potties that, get put out there, and then the Board of Health, wants to shut them down before the season's over because people are putting trash in. So, quite frankly, I was notified as a butter, but totally surprised that you would want to do a huge gazebo for a viewing area, versus a much greater public good and serving so many more people, that if you could provide bathrooms. And just as an example, we have this Plum Island, the Plum Fest. I don't know if there's any plans for toilets during that event. That's gonna be crazy. But just any great, even a winter weekend where you get the beach packed with people, there's no toilets there, and people are frantic. So I just question your priorities there. Or I'd like to see, an overall plan that incorporates that. And I just hear, I hear different things that don't always jive. Like you said, Newburyport said there's no hookup, but the guy that presented the plan in front of the Conservation Committee said the plan is to extend water sewer lines underneath before you lay the pavement.
The plan, I did direct them to include that, because I was under the impression, based on the information from the resident, that there were water and sewer connections. Now, if there are not, obviously, we won't lay the pipe. We didn't want to repave it and then have to rip it up to put in bathroom facilities if you should decide
Addie
to do
Mays
that.
has got doesn't Addie Mays have sewer connection right there? I mean, it's not called Addie Mays anymore, but that's all I can ever think of the name.
That's not our property, that's privately owned.
No, but I mean,
Yes.
there's gotta be a collection for that property. I mean, I know there's a collection point for my parking lot at 3 Northern Boulevard. And that, that can't be over, used between,
Agreed.
and like you said, we're adding Mays, that's probably a collection point there. So I don't, when you ask
We
me
had
to
a
report.
direct conversation
Yeah.
with Newburyport Water and Newburyport Sewer, and they
That's it.
confirmed that there are no connections available there for the town of Newbury. We
Yeah.
are pursuing, investigating whether transfers can be made through trades, et cetera, but that was the information that was provided. That being said, the plan as it's presented does not prohibit you from doing permanent structures in the future. Obviously, it would all have to go through process as well. Ideally, we'd like to secure other property for permanent
Yes.
facilities.
Why would that be?
That isn't in the area that's subject to overwash.
Well, I think you just got approved permits for a permanent building.
No, we got approved per Conservation Commission.
Well, okay, yes, but Conservation Commission said approved, piles for a structure that while now it's a gazebo, but the guy that presented it said that certainly it's being built to code so that it could be an enclosed structure. It could be added to, you guys said it could be an enclosed structure. The flooring and everything that was, and how that's being built, that it could be an enclosed structure. So that could be, the building itself could be it could become an enclosed building for toilets. The question is, do you have a tank or do you, does it, there's just lots of options. Whether it's connected to this water sewer or whether it's tanked. We also discussed those comments last week about.
You can't tight tank it, I'm positive of that, not unless there's a pre-existing system that was failed and there's no room for expansion.
Well, what about, there's, executive style portable, trailerable toilet facilities. They obviously can hold quite a bit and they can be pumped out just like porta-johns are.
Do you provide any restrooms at John's for your parking customers?
No, I don't, but I've been paying for the porta-johns for the last 8 years until you guys took it over last summer.
Well, I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, except for paving, most of this is being done, or all of it's being done by our highway department. And this is just moving forward, at least for this year, to try to put some semblance of orderliness in there. And as I understand it, the gazebo is being almost, it's pretty simplistic. I don't think, if we had the ability to build restrooms right there now, if it was before us, if the state had the same amount of money that it had once to build restrooms, I don't think that we would be against trying or moving forward to build restrooms. It doesn't make it totally easy right now in our minds to be able to police them, but that's another story. But
Yeah, policing issues relative just to the gazebo, I would submit.
well, it's just the fact that we've had so much.
But yes, obviously,
We'd
much
have-
greater with it.
The minute we left them, we'd have to lock them.
And we did
You know.
receive funding at town meeting for the Plum Island Beach attendants, so there will be
And there'll be some
more,
decent people there. And I mean, we're gonna, there's thoughts on how to handle trash, at least that's all coming together.
Where are we relative to trash, or trash?
Probably not ready right yet, I don't think. But the only thing is, David, I'm trying to be really honest with you, I don't think any of us all of a sudden thought we put bathrooms there because of where the bathrooms, if you correct me if I'm wrong, but the bathrooms that in the old days were gonna go were across on your spot, right?
Well,
And there are a
that
lot-
was a discussion at one point.
Well, but that's a lot out of that direct overwash. Not saying that someday maybe they can't go there.
Well, I think the overwash is, that issue for overwash is moot. If you're ready to put a permanent gazebo there,
Yeah.
what's the difference? if, you know.
Well, one
Once
thing,
you
a
approve piles-
gazebo's got things like this, and a restroom's got.
It's a cement slab,
You know,
open,
so-
it won't have any waste.
What?
Shouldn't have any waste,
Walls.
human waste in there.
Kind of fellow in the back.
The building you've permitted,
It's
you
not
could put
permitted.
anything.
Permitted
It's not permitted.
Well,
Proposed.
the one that was approved by Concom, that platform, you can put anything on there.
Well, once
And-
again, like I said, I don't think anyone has taken off the table that if we can fund bathrooms in a certain location, that the town of Newbury would try to fund bathrooms.
Yeah, I think everyone on the board would really like to see some permanent bathrooms at Center Island.
I mean, there's.
Doing it the right way so they can be maintained, cared for, hopefully not abused or ruined. You know, that's what we're trying to figure out. And it's, you know, we've had a huge committee study, we're looking and we're trying to find a good solution.
And we'll figure it out.
And I don't
We
mean
need
it,
you to help us.
David,
Well, and I would submit that you can have lots of input and feedback if you want it. I spent a lot of time last winter just attending those
and you
committee
did,
meetings.
and you did, and you were always a gentleman at the meetings, but just
And another
remember,
thing, I mean-
one of the things, just, you can't just suddenly say that we're not doing this, and by doing this, you're not doing this. No, we're still open, we're still just moving forward to accomplish
In
this.
my opinion, this is a first step to beautifying it. It's a jewel, that island.
Yeah.
And we gotta do it right.
Well, and I feel the same way. So I guess
We're
that's
all the
part of
same
my
boat.
feedback
And
is,
you're
all of
right.
a sudden I see a plan for an 18 by 20 gazebo where I don't see it as part of an overall plan for trash and collection and.
Trash is identified in
It's gonna
here,
be addressed
and,
this summer, right?
just so you know, this proposal has been more than a year and a half in the works. The first thing we had to do was identify what property the town even owned. So it is glacial, sometimes the pace at which we move, but we have been working on this since that committee
Good.
issued their report. There are ongoing conversations with Mellow Disposal, we've had conversations with Big Belly Trash Disposal. As of right now, this moment, the carry in, carry out policy was the last policy adopted by the board. So, I mean, that's where we are if you take a snapshot today. But we've been gathering more information for the board to consider since
And
that point
I
in time.
certainly, we all respect you as a neighbor right the hell next to it, bang, for having some thoughts, because you've been able to
You're
watch
there,
the
you
place.
see it day
Well,
in
one
and day out.
of the feedback from all those meetings was that you need to have monitoring. And
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll welcome 40 hours of monitoring, that's 40 hours more than we've had. But it's not enough, because if they're not there from, 7 until 9, people aren't dumping trash in the middle of the day,
Well, we
during the
also
day.
have the police department as
Well, I understand, but one of the things we talked about in that meeting was that the camera by Homeland Security, and that hasn't happened. We will provide a camera. I mean,
You know what happened,
citizens will
David?
donate a
Dave,
camera,
Dave,
make it IP
Dave,
addressable.
You know what happened with that? Homeland Security is a little different, maybe Mike or John can illuminate it for us. But even with a camera, it's not a given that you're gonna be able to prosecute people unless you get those license plates and every other thing, right, Mike?
Yeah, but
And a
you
lot
know
of the
what?
guys that
Yeah,
are
the
doing
camera with
damage down
signage,
there.
it's-
Yeah,
Well,
but you know
other,
what?
let me just finish. A lot of the guys that are doing damage aren't exposing themselves, and a lot of guys that are damaging the porta potties, you can't see them.
No, but it's a deterrent. I think that, I think cameras down there are, JR said it once, I would've paid myself to put a camera down there, just to snap, there's a hunting camera, snaps pictures.
Can I tell
think
you
it's a
something, guys, just so
deterrent.
you know, I use hunting cameras all the time. And I don't mean to be a wise guy, but if we're gonna get cameras, we're gonna have to get cameras. Mike, what's the status on the cameras?
Homeland Security cameras, the project's still ongoing. We had a notice of intent that there's still coming up this way. It's just, the pace of the federal government. I can't tell the federal government to go any faster or slower because we're having a trash problem at Plum Island.
No, but this summer's coming.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, it could be at the end of the summer, it could be next week, I don't know.
If we can just get a camera out there, I don't think it can't hurt.
I think it's beyond the camera, then you could have someone monitor it, right?
Well,
It's the
no, it's a
monitoring and the
deterrent.
hookup.
I haven't forgot you out back. John?
One of the benefits of having a camera, it's not so much about identifying the violators, it's about identifying the timeframes to best utilize
You
your
said that
controls.
before.
So that is a definite benefit, but Dave, I'll be more than willing to sit down with you. One of the biggest problems we have is access to an IP, access to the infrastructure to facilitate a camera. I mean, if that's something that you want to have something tied into, I don't know what the legalities are, but I mean, maybe that's something I can discuss in the interim of the Homeland Security project. Talk about glacial, that getting up here, maybe there's some discussion we can have to see if there's anything to that, I don't know. But, I mean, if you're putting that on the table, I heard you say that you're willing to.
Yeah, we can provide a camera, and it's
not so much the camera
address that give you the password to get into that site.
I'd like to catch somebody doing something.
Let me get the guy down back, Dave. Yes.
Yeah, I'm representing the Manassians at 4 Southern Boulevard, and I basically echo most of the things Dave said, and I think I'm curious why the state is funding gazebos but not well-needed toilet facilities. That makes 0 sense to me. So I don't know what.
The state's not funding it.
So who's funding the gazebo?
We have members of our DPW who are quite talented, and we're going to be using our labor force to do some of the work, not the foundation work. So we will be paying for the materials out of DPW Building Improvements Fund.
Well, why not just,
Give a time
why
frame for the
don't you
gazebo?
just make it toilet facilities instead of a gazebo?
We don't have the hookup.
There's no hookup there.
And you can't have waves overwashing.
And then you're gonna pave the parking lot, and then you're gonna talk about doing hookups 3 years later. That'll make a lot of sense, I'm
I don't
sure.
think that the city's new report's gonna allow us to
We
hook up.
can't, let's not.
You can't even run
Do you have a time frame for the gazebo?
plumbing hookups?
When the drawings are in from the engineer, that will go through process. That was what I was saying when I said we don't have a permit for that, so the first stop would be go to the building inspector to ask for a permit. He will deny the permit, and it will have to go to the zoning board of appeals. So,
This isn't gonna happen.
Still looking for an answer.
Overnight.
I don't know when the engineer's gonna deliver the plans. I'm
You can
waiting for
give me a
them.
better time frame than that. Are we
Dave.
talking 3 to 12, 12 to 18?
Dave, does Plum Island, would Plum Island rather have us do absolutely nothing down there? Or try to make it a little, I mean, would you rather do
See
nothing?
this happening before this.
Because we're not getting a bathroom this year.
Oh, you do?
And honestly, for every person that says they want bathrooms, I have a person telling me they don't want them.
Well, probably people could use, but we're not getting them this year. Would you rather have us stop all this crap and just leave it the way it is?
No, I think you should, my first comment was, thank you.
Then we're also looking,
Paving
we're
and
also
beautifying the
also
stone wall.
looking at the other things also. We are, honestly. We're not throwing it off the table. That's what I said to you in the beginning.
No, the issue down there with the parking, it's gonna be addressed hopefully before the season starts with the parking lot. With the trees and the bushes and the walls. We're gonna have to make a decision as a board, come to another vote on what we're gonna do about trash, because people are gonna put it in the ground, and I don't care how beautiful it is down there.
Yeah, exactly.
They're gonna throw it
Make
in
all
the
these
ground.
plans and then.
So, and as far as
Give us a
that,
plan.
okay, and as far as that gazebo goes, as far as bathrooms goes, we can't do anything right now, at least tonight, but we'll look at it, because I wanna solve that issue too. My girls go down there, they
So
come
do you
running home.
see this gazebo happening for this summer season?
Right now.
I don't
yes.
know what the,
Yes.
Right now.
yeah, but you can't say that, because you don't know what the
Do I,
process is.
he asked me a question, do I foresee it happen? I think, yeah. I
I don't
answered
know.
it.
I don't know what the zoning board of appeals is gonna say.
Do you have to build it before you pave, or can you pave and then build it? Because you're gonna impact that area when you bring in concrete trucks and heavy equipment in, right? You don't wanna roll that right over new asphalt.
No.
That engineering has been taken and put in place with the plan supposedly and the expertise of the highway department. I wanna get off this.
Okay. All right, thank you
No,
for
but
the
I'm
time.
glad you came.
And I am
Thank
too.
you.
Okay. But
Thank you.
none of us have.
Don't
not
stop coming, please.
Wanted to get rid of the bathrooms.
And you too, don't
or the
stop coming
idea.
here.
None of us have just said, no bathrooms. And I heard that from other places. So none of us said that. It just didn't seem
I
like it
wanna
was
wave a
going to
magic
veer right
wand
off.
and make that perfect down there.
Yeah,
I
go
really
ahead.
do.
You're awesome. Yeah, I look at it every day.
All right.
Yeah, it's a shame we missed Addie Mays as an opportunity.
Yeah.
But that
The
would
whole
have been perfect.
Who is that, will that property ever come back?
I can't see why it would.
What are they doing with it now?
Ice cream.
I
They
just came in and-
permitted it last year for an ice cream store.
I mean, he got an oceanfront property for pretty cheap money.
Yeah. Well,
Why would he give it up?
yeah,
Anyway, thank you.
with a hookup, right?
Yeah.
Thanks, Dave.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
All right, correspondence. We have a letter here from a Matthew Jones. I don't know if he's here, and this is to do with the tree in the upper green, and Tim's gone too.
I'm sure he's not here.
So, and that tree is something that's slated to be down because it's a big X, and we can't say much because Tim's not here, but we can ask Tim to get back to us.
Yeah, I'd like to know why that tree's coming down as well. There's an, I mean, I know that National Grid puts in their requests, and it's not generally
this,
resistant.
Tim did confirm that it needs to come down.
It
I
needs
do
to
know
come down.
that, and
I
I don't
don't
know the
see this
details,
on our
but
letter.
he did go through it.
It's tucked in there. It's right here, this one right here.
Said it was
Yeah.
severely rotted.
What I'm saying is I don't see this on this,
On
so
what?
you can mention it's preambulating
Oh, yeah.
out borders.
No, that's coming up,
Okay.
I think.
Correspondence.
All right, we have a letter from Michael Farrow, Town Administrator, Town of Georgetown, and that's to walk the borders. So, someone that doesn't have bad knees, we can certainly ask Ellen to get a couple of dates that
I
they can
enjoy
do to do
doing
it.
that. I'd
And
love to do
Chuck,
it.
you'll
I
want
would,
to.
I would enjoy that too, that's a
Yeah.
tradition that I would like to take
Yes,
part
it
in.
is.
All right,
Yes,
so
it is.
there you
I'd be
go.
happy to do it as well.
So I don't know why three can't go.
No, you
Alicia,
can't.
you
It's
wanna go
tomorrow.
too?
No, I don't wanna go.
As long as it's, we don't
Post the
discuss
meeting.
anything else.
I have Pilates.
Did we skip the First Parish Church correspondence?
Did you see it listed?
Right there above the,
I wrote it in, so
Somebody texted me.
okay, it's on mine.
where's yours?
It's just, ours are different somehow.
All right. We do have from Karen Wakefield on May 20th, 2017, First Parish Church, a class on cleaning the gravestones. We also have a report, these are all in the correspondence, we have a report from John Higgins. It speaks in oils and algae blooms and low sulfates, but he's doing a good job getting some of the algae bloom and some of the sediments out of the Upper Green and Marsden Pond.
Can we stop for a second? That Upper Green, the pond in Upper Green, I was at the rec committee meeting and Keith, Abloh was there with his son Cole, and their plan for the Upper Green is gonna be to drain that pond and re-clay it inside, put clay down, and then put it back in, and I'm like, well, we have the guy doing this stuff here, the algae, and they didn't know anything about it, so we gotta get those two people talking.
That's a huge project.
The board of selectmen could, do you have those approvals?
No.
No, oh, okay.
That's the first I've heard of that.
I was gonna say, that wasn't in the plan they brought before us.
Well,
Yeah.
that's
Huh.
what I asked about it, and you can go watch it on TV from the rec committee. And because I specifically asked, because I know I'm like, I know they're doing ponds
The
somewhere.
charge was to go for various boards and committees
And get input.
to get information about what the boards and committees thought.
Right. So
And
they'll
not-
probably come back to us and then we'll decide.
And not tell the other boards what they were gonna do.
I think that would be a conservation commission
Yeah.
issue.
Save the goldfish, I can see it now. All right, we have notice from town accountant, FY16 audit complete and copy is available for the Board of Selectmen, and I think that's enough said, that the copy is available. And the final balance sheet for statement of revenue expenses, 5A and B, statement of ownership and combined Massachusetts Cable Communications, LCC for the fiscal year 12/31/16. So that's Comcast.
That's been forwarded to the media committee.
Okay.
So the media committee is gonna review that and make a recommendation, Alicia? To us, or?
I'm gonna
For the
say,
balance
I'm gonna
sheet,
say,
the
sounds good
numbers,
to me.
this thick.
It is.
Yeah, no,
Just
they don't
about.
have any, they don't have any comment on that.
They have no comment?
They're doing the, they're looking at the contract to the town, yeah.
So how do we know
Review
if they're
that.
looking for the contract, who's looking at that to make sure that we're getting what we should? There's no, someone, you going over Tracy at
I
all?
am not, that was forwarded to the media committee. For
So
their
they should look at it and make sure we're getting the amount of money we're supposed to out of here, whatever we're supposed to get,
Oh, out of this thing here?
out of the final
Yeah.
balance
Yeah.
sheet, so
Yeah.
we're not getting shot.
Oh, yeah, we want
Oh,
those
I
numbers
thought-
checked.
I thought you were kidding me.
No, I was serious. The media committee wanted to
Yeah,
take that
I
on, and
figured
I'm
that-
glad they have.
I figured it's good for them, good for them.
Yeah.
Review of minutes, April 4th, 2017, motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
April 11th, 2017.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in
Actually, I
favor?
shouldn't vote for
Warrants,
that, yeah.
motion.
I wasn't here for the fourth.
Motion to sign warrants.
Is there a
So
second?
moved.
11.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's it. Meeting updates. Anyone got any?
There was an election today, JR and I won.
Yes.
Yes.
Congratulations.
That's a meeting update, right?
Wow. That is cool. I have some.
It was a long day.
Yes, very long day.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Wow. That's awesome.
A long day and a strong challenger.
Congratulations, guys. It shows that you've been doing a good job and the board's been doing a good job. We must be accessible to the people and at least answer and, you know, when they need us, we're trying to be there, so that's awesome.
It was a good turnout today, much better
Awesome,
than I
awesome,
anticipated.
Really?
awesome, awesome.
Any clue how many, just out of curiosity?
Well, JR got over 900 votes.
Okay.
1263.
1263.
Oh, okay. Thank
Awesome,
you.
awesome, awesome. The outcome was better than.
20, if I did it right, 2164 total votes.
That's a lot of votes.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
two,
it is.
for two contested
1263.
races.
1263.
Oh, is that what it was? I did something wrong.
I think
Sorry.
you added the
It's been a long day.
You added the 3 totals.
Yeah, okay.
That's outstanding.
Yeah, you can't add the 3.
All right, motion for warrants.
We did that.
Did we vote on it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you want to reorganize tonight?
I
or do you
think
wanna
we
wait?
have a move, can I move to adjourn?
I was gonna say, before we do that, do we want to reorganize tonight or wait till
No.
next week?
No,
Wait.
we're
All
gonna
right,
wait.
wait.
Enough for today.
All right. Meeting updates?
We did,
Alright.
I just did that.
Motion to adjourn. I
So
don't have-
moved.
I move to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.